samasta Sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta Sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta Sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tatsat. Namaste everyone. Welcome to our spiritual festival. It's a 36th annual Interfaith prayer ceremony and the holiday celebration. I'd like to thank all of you, welcome all of you, especially our chief guest, Honorable Sujata Koirala from Nepal, and Ms. Hawa Diallo from United Nations, and all other speakers, performers, board members, advisors, and partners of this event from different countries. Why we have this spiritual festival? That's very interesting because we believe we all are divine beings on this earth with the divine nature, love and care. We may have different culture or a religion or practice, but when you come to the humanity, we all are children from same God. Some people may not believe that God exists, but still same universe. Let me invite, see our chief guest, Sujata Koirala. She is the former Deputy Prime Minister of Nepal and the Foreign Minister and the founder president of the GPK Foundation. Very active around the globe. I met her in New York few years back. I hope soon I may visit Nepal, or she may come to New York or in India, either way. Why? And she is empowering women and children, actually everybody. That's the way she is. Very loving nature. Without delay, I want to invite Honorable Sujata Koirala. Floor is for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Guruji. Good evening. Good morning. It is a pleasure for me to join this distinguished panelist for the spiritual festival. Let me extend my sincere greetings and best wishes for the very happy, healthy, and prosperous New Year 2022 and beyond. The world is becoming more diverse every day with different faith and beliefs. Interfaith prayer service gives us strength to come together for a common cause. We have freedom to choose our faiths and religions. Praying together gives us strength and hope to each one of us at a time when society is getting polarized in the name of extreme nationalism. As we prepare to enter into New Year 2022, Interfaith becomes our hope, source of strength to break all barriers, open all avenues, dissolve our differences, and instill in us the sense of tolerance and harmony. Interfaith prayers have unique strength of bringing individuals and communities together to foster closer understanding of each other and develop resilience. The strength of Asian culture is its harmony, tolerance, and unity in the midst of diversity. It teaches us to be respectful to others and provides us opportunities to be creative, innovative, and productive. It is time to create awareness by investing in culture and promote research and development, promote education, inclusion, and community cohesion. There should be no politics in promoting interfaith prayers. Government should be encouraged to be more open and accountable to their activities. This is one way to ensure integration and stabilization of our society. Prayer is powerful and strength As a cancer patient, I have realized it from a close angle. Prayer and meditation gave me strength and power to overcome it. It is prayer, counseling, and meditation that acted as a great healer and kept me away from chemotherapy. I was cured without chemotherapy. I started to believe in spiritualism. I started to listen to Gurujis, their teachings, and it really gave me happiness and a different life. I learned for the first time that what happiness is actually about. COVID-19 pandemic confined majority of the humanity to indoors. As the world witnessed lockdown with the outbreak of COVID-19, meditation and prayers have come to play an inestimable role in our life. Let us pray together, keep positive thoughts in mind to over obstacles in our way. Once again, wishing you and your loved ones a very happy and healthy New Year 2022 and beyond. Thank you so much, Guruji, for inviting me.
Thank you, Honorable Sujata Koirala, for your words of wisdom, especially from Nepal, the land of the God. I remember the first country I visited, that is Nepal, without a visa. Just go past through the border and see all the people are wonderful people. Every week I have events with the people from Nepal in New York. I'm so happy you are able to join. I know this night in Nepal. Thank you for all of your support, and GP Koirala Foundation members in New York. I'm so happy they are like buddies with us. Long time. Looking forward to meet you very soon. Thank you so much. Now I'd like to invite Dr. Padmini Murthy to introduce our guest of honor, Hawa Diallo.
Thank you so much. Greetings, everybody. Thank you, Dileepji. Thank you, Ms. Koirala, for your inspiring words. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce Ms. Hawa Diallo, who is an esteemed colleague, but a great friend to me personally and the civil society. She currently serves as chief of the civil society unit at the Department of Global Communications. Now, Hawa in Hindi means wind. Hawa is a force of nature. She's always there. Thank you so much, Hawa, for always working with the NGOs. And ladies and gentlemen, one of the things I just want to say about Hawa before I hand it back to Dileepji is Hawa is the mover and shaker for so many of the youth globally. She is like, you know, a surrogate elder sister, auntie, mom. More than that, she's a friend, philosopher, and guide. So FPG and, you know, my own daughter and so many others have benefited from Hawa's wisdom. So thank you so much, Hawa, for joining us. And back to you, Dileepji.
Yeah,
and Happy
Hawa,
New Year, everybody.
Happy holidays and Happy New Year. This is our last day, event in this year, not the least. Evening we have a dinner too. Those who are in New York City, please join. Hawa is a long-time friend of mine, and I know the way she went through the system at the UN. That is amazing story for so many people. It's a model. She's a model for so many people. Be humble and simple and courageous. Never give up. That is her life. Hawa, flourish for it.
Wow, namaste. Greetings, everybody. I think I can just close here and go back home now. Well, I'm already at home, working from home. I think go back to bed. But thank you so much, everybody. I'm so deeply touched. And now people who know me know I'm very emotional. I'm already like, you know, sniffing tears, and to have, you know, Padmini Murthy Mini, as I lovingly call her, and we all know her, is just so touching. It means so much to me. And I think sometimes that's my problem. I'm just so, I don't know, so emotional and so personable with people that some people might think that's a negative, but for me, that's what always helps me I always say this, to do the work that I do with the United Nations, because honestly, I'm getting emotional. I feel people. I have empathy for people. It's something I learned very early on in my own family, to give back and to give back well. So greetings, namaste. I hope everybody's been having a wonderful holiday season with your family and your loved ones. You know, big thanks to our sister before me, Miss Koirala. I hope I pronounced that properly. Nepal is one of the places that I want to see in my lifetime. I hope that I'll have the opportunity to grace those you know, that land. You know, I'm always really very happy, very excited, very delighted when Girija calls me and says, "Oh, Hawa, we're having an event, can you speak?" No matter what the situation is, I try to find time in my calendar, because really, it's always an honor for me to speak in the interfaith space. Personally, for myself, my father, who is now deceased, was a Muslim, very strong practicing. My mom, who I thank the Almighty is still with us, is a Christian. She's a Methodist, but I come from a home that had two religions. So interfaith, I guess, from my birth. What I do understand is that my mom and dad, you know, were very strong in their own faith. And my father did not say my mom had to convert to Islam. What I understand is that as long as you practice your faith and you practice it well, this is something that I honor. So for me, I've always had a higher belief or a faith in a higher being. And I've always felt comfortable. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I felt comfortable in different religious spaces, whether I'm in a mosque, I'm in church. If I went to any type of temple, I'm able to communicate with that higher being, and I always have this special feeling inside of me. So, which is why I'm always very happy when I find myself in the interfaith spaces. It really gives me a warm feeling inside. But really, big congratulations to Guruji and to World Yoga Community and all the many partners I know that work so hard for really 2021, for bringing us together so many times. They were so meaningful to me personally. And really, you know, it was a year that was challenging for so many of us. I think this gatherings and this space and this sort of strong inner feeling that I know that I felt was something that helped get me through. And when I think about it, 36 years, annual interfaith prayer service and a holiday celebration. Wow. Okay, I'm older than 36 years, but still, it's a lot of time and a lot of energy and faith and just goodness that goes into bringing us all together. And for me, I think it's allowed everyone all this time to come together to celebrate our respective faiths and to draw from those common threads that we all have within our beliefs. I'm truly appreciative for this unique opportunity. I've explained my own, you know, religious background and my own faith background, and I've learned so much on this platform about different faiths, but it's also made me reflect and really helping me to get in touch with my inner self. And for me, it's still a journey. It's still a work in progress, but I've been able to really dig deep down and to feel that inner faith that is inside myself. And knowing this is something that I want to share with people. That's what propels me, as I said, in doing the work that I do. I always say, you know, the UN is not a religious organization, but I think you have to be a person of inner faith to really give and give selflessly. If you want to do your work in the right way, in the way that it should be. That's my own belief in terms of what has helped me. And, you know, interfaith entities and the work that all of them do is just so invaluable. You know, I can only once again emphasize that, you know, the role is important, that they play in society, that they play in international organizations like the UN, whether it's from building peace, inclusive peace, or building peace within local communities, or just creating that environment where we have that mutual understanding and care for one another, and the need or the idea that you have to care for others. The presence of you know, interfaith organizations, for me, and the values that they bring to the table, and the principles that they bring at various levels, whether it's within families, communities, nations, multilateral spaces, is really key to putting long-term solutions and resolutions into place. Civil society organizations have been present in the UN space since 1945 and probably were there with the League of Nations. And time again, we've witnessed the impact that they bring to conflict resolution, to providing humanitarian assistance, to giving healthier communities. Now, I don't have to convince you. You all know that this support has been successfully given, even at times when governments themselves cannot act. I was looking at some stats. I'm always doing speaking engagements. I'm like, oh, it's good to have stats. And I came across this really good one. I was surprised when I first saw it. It said that faith-based organizations today are responsible for about 40% of healthcare services in sub-Saharan Africa. I was shocked in the beginning, but then when I thought about it, I'm like, this is really possible. This is true. These organizations are sometimes closest to the people. They understand the local context, local faith leaders. They speak the language, the culture, the values, and, they understand what's going on in their respective communities. And, with that conviction, I think that faith-based organizations have, and that primary role of caring for people, it's so easy where, they can be responsible for so much more around the world. Now, fast forward 2020, 2021, and honestly, this conviction and this selfless giving of faith-based organizations still persists. My office, the Civil Society office in the Department of Global Communications, we did a couple of surveys and on the pandemic, and really it was to bring out the value of civil society and the work that they do on the ground. And this was so prevalent in the responses that we got. The civil society is front and center. They are first responders when it comes to the pandemic, to combating misinformation, to raising awareness, to providing those medical services, especially in hard to reach. What I know is that the lessons we've learned dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic has shown me and all of us that we're all interconnected. Nothing about closing borders and being inwardly, but we're all, as Girija said, we're one universal humanity, interconnected, not only through working together and supporting each other, but for finding those lasting solutions to address, global issues like the pandemic. We are peoples of faith. We have diverse religions, beliefs, practices, but we all have a longing for the principles of the Charter of the UN, long-lasting peace, justice, and sharing the socio and economic well-being of people around the world. This is what I have come to value most with my work and my work with interfaith organizations. Now, to close, as we go into 2022, I pray that all of us will continue within our respective faiths to give our utmost, to continue giving our utmost to our families, our communities, to the global citizens of the world. Most importantly, let's continue to work together. Let's gather or continue in the spirit of something that's coming up that I'm looking forward to, World Harmony Week, to highlight our common aspirations and values and the beliefs amongst us for a better world. Thanks really for giving me your time and giving me the honor of being here with you. I wish all of you happy holidays, happiness, continued spiritual growth. Let's take this unique energy we have within us all and spread it globally towards a more sustainable future. Blessings unto everyone. Namaste. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Girija.
Now I am recording with the 4 people, me, Hawa, and Honorable Sujata Koirala, and Dr. Padmini Murthyji. So we are going to the 2022 very soon, only 5 days more. No, 3 days actually. I want to see. The world needs some help. The religious dogmas are there, and suppression towards women and children is there. So what is your plan for 2022? This question for Honorable Sujata Koirala and Ms. Hawa Diallo. What do you want to do something new for changing? Unmute yourself. Okay.
Well, is it me?
Yeah, you can say.
2022.
You can answer.
Yes.
Yeah, what you are going to do?
Yeah, I want to do a lot of social work, social activities, help people, and promote my party, Nepali Congress, and strengthen the democracy and peace and stability in Nepal. And I want to promote our people. I want to see them happy, more spiritual, more understanding of faith and religion. And well, I want to help Nepal to eradicate poverty. So I want to do that. That is my passion and my conviction.
May your dream comes true. You pray for it. Hawa?
Yeah, you know, I keep saying I've worked in the UN for 35 years. So that's why I know I'm older than 36. And I've been hearing a calling. I've spoken to some people about that, where I love the work I do in the UN. I came there just like this, not having planned it. And I've learned so much working in so many different places. But I keep hearing an inner voice or an inner calling that I need to do more, but I need to do it at a higher level. I'm not talking promotion or things like that, but just at a more higher space. So I want to be able to, you know, to cross that that junction in 2022, whether I'm going along with the UN and bringing the UN with me, but I want to be able to give more to the world. That's just something that has never been a question for me. That people think, look, why are you doing this? Well, I said, I don't know. I hear that calling, I hear that voice that I need to do good, I need to do more. And I'd like to especially do that, of course, globally, but especially as Sister Koirala said, in my own country, in Sierra Leone, where so much needs to be done. Girija, you mentioned women's issues, youth issues, trauma. My country has been through civil war, but trauma is something that we just don't even talk about. We sweep it under the rug. You know, drug abuse, substance abuse. These are all things that are, you know, I think that needs to be explored. I want to be able to take that sense of giving, I don't know, or sense of humanity with me into 2022 and to actualize it. And I hope that I can bring everybody along with me because there's so much work that needs to be done, not only in Sierra Leone, but all over. But of course, I wish a lot of love and happiness and kindness to people, because I think sometimes we're not kind to one another. I always try to do my best, but I'm also human. So in 2022, I want to, you know, kind of, you know, develop that more, be kind to myself, be kind to others. And really, I just love people. So, you know, let's see what 2022 brings in. Over to you.
Dr. Padmini Murthy, do you have anything to say or ask?
Yeah, thank you so much. Just to add to what Hawa and Ms. Koirala said is, I think as a physician, a mother, a woman, I just want to see there's more equity for women's health issues. And one of the things I've been working with my colleagues from the American Medical Women's Association, we are pushing to have specific PPE, personal protective equipment for women, especially the women healthcare providers. You know, I mean, like, it's really terrible that it's like we are, I always say, like, diplomats, soldiers, doctors never have a day off. You're always on alert, especially now during the COVID season. And I just hope there is more vaccine equity. So I coined the term vacuity. So we really need to have equity. And also all this misinformation. And thank you, Hawa, especially your division and also the UN, where you have the being verified, you know, all these myths about vaccines. And I think, Dileepji, as you say, we can all join together. And one of the things I tell my students, as I just, before I hand it over to you, is think locally with a global outreach. So we all share our best practices. We can really make a difference, because faith is a way of life. And that's what keeps us going. It's not whether whichever religion you belong to, it's we are all spiritual beings. That's why we are here. Thank you so much. And over to you. Thank you.
So I put this frame because I know 3 women are very strong in different areas. So I want to make sure they are in our fold to work together for the future. I know when we work from different countries and in different levels, it will boost very well. I was in a natural medical practice with my dad for 25 years. We use natural medicines. We are not against modern medicines, but we don't want to promote when people bring business in medicine or education. That is a divine thing. So we have to make sure everybody get proper education and health, and make sure all the children should learn music, dance, and sports. So deviate their mind from unnecessary drug use and alcohol abuse. So we need a system to bring people in a proper way. I hope what we can do, it will getting better in future. Thank you, Hawa, for joining, and thank you, Sujata Koirala ji and Dr. Patmini. Thank you. Now I like to invite our angel, Miss Michelle Delafay. She's going to bless us with a beautiful song.
Thank you, Guruji, for having me here. It is a blessing for me to listen to everyone. Here's a song that I find is my dream. There's a dream I feel so rare, so real. All the world in union, the world has one, gathering together, one mind, one heart. Every creed, every color, once joined, never apart, searching for the best in me. I will find what I can be. If I win, lose, or draw, there's a winner in us all. It's the world in union, the world as one. As we climb to reach our destiny, a new age will begin. We face high mountains, must cross rough seas. We must take our place in history and live with dignity. Just to be the best I can sets the goal for every man. If I win, lose, or draw, it's a victory for all. It's the world in union, the world as one. As we climb to reach our destiny, a new world has begun. It's the world in union, the world as one. As we climb to reach our destiny, a new world has begun.
Praise the Lord. That's a good one and new one, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's the world in union.
I know you have 2 more songs.
Yes.
So relax. You'll come back. And give me
Thank you,
charge with
Guruji.
people.
God bless all. Thank
Now
you.
I like to invite Professor S.R. Bhatt, Professor Dr. S.R. Bhatt from Delhi. Actually, Professor S.R. Bhatt supported us with so many events, especially Interfaith Harmony Week, Yoga Day celebrations, and the last 2 weeks back we had beautiful 7 days Global Hindu Summit. He was one of the leading director for that event. It was great blessing for Professor S.R. Bhatt ji, and the night he is sitting in his room from India. Thank you, Professor Bhatt sir. Floor is for you.
Thank you, Guru Dileepji. It is really a matter of great pleasure to participate in the events and programs organized by Pujya Guru Dileepji. And today, the theme is spirituality, which is the only gateway to global peace and global happiness. These are the coveted ideals which every human being aspires for. Spirituality stands for fundamental unity of all existences, animate as well as inanimate. Every existence is divine. Every existence, therefore, should be respected and valued. This is the crux of spirituality. This spirituality finds its expression in 3 key tenets. One is a peaceful coexistence. This cosmos is an interplay of interdependent entities. All entities coexist, and the coexistence should be harmonious, and therefore it should bring about universal love, universal fellowship, and a sort of a global unity. Whole world is to be treated as one single family. The other key tenet of spirituality is cooperation, mutuality, reciprocity. We have to work along with others for the sake of well-being of others. So we have to therefore transcend the limited ego sense of I to the universal feeling of we. I has to be merged into we. And therefore, we have to care for the entire globe. Particularly, we have to care for Mother Nature also, because we have a wrong tendency, a perverted mentality to exploit nature. We have to not exploit nature, but make the best use of nature through our judicious consciousness. And the third tenet is mutual caring and sharing, so that there is a judicious distribution of natural and other resources, so that there is justice and fair play. Well, these are the basic ideas and ideals propagated in spirituality. And this spirituality has been a distinguishing characteristic of Indian culture. And therefore, when we are suffering from fatal diseases like corona and many other ailments we suffer from. We suffer from physical, mental, and spiritual ailments. And therefore, for this, what we need is that we should have a paradigm shift, a new set of values, not the individualistic, exploitative, competitive, discriminative, but one wherein we care for all, and our motive should be service to all. So service, and this makes us to practical orientation. Spirituality is, of course, a theoretical concept, but it has a practical connotation. And therefore, it must result in social service. We heard about social service being promoted by Madam Sujata Koirala, Madam Hawa, and others. And Dr. Murthy also is engaged in social service. So social service is the practical counterpart of spirituality. Without social service, in Bhagavad Gita, we use the term Loka Sangraha, wellness of the entire cosmos, not just of the human beings, but every iota of the cosmos we have to care for. And therefore, spirituality is the need of the times. It's high time that, that we have a dissemination of spirituality, practice of spirituality, and this sort of a refined mindset, not the dualistic or exploitative, but cooperative mindset. And if we do that, then only the world can be a nice place to live. We aspire for that. And therefore, we have to, of course, we have to act locally, but we have to think globally. And therefore, spirituality is global in character. It is ecumenical, and therefore, let there be more such occasions, more such events for dissemination of spirituality, so that we have mutual caring and sharing. So we are thankful to Guru Dileepji for conceiving this particular ideal and making serious and sincere efforts for spread of spirituality and other ideals associated with spirituality, like universal love, universal fellowship, and universal service. Thank you once again for making us hear the words of wisdom from Madam Sujata, Madam Hawa, Madam Murthy, and melodious song of Madam Michael. Well, that also is a very, I should say, significant part of our program, because it elevates us. The other speakers enlightened us, but she has elevated us, and she has made us really spiritual. So we are thankful to her as well. Over to Guruji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Bhatt. That was wonderful. What's the time in India now?
Now it is 8:15.
8:15.
Yeah.
Governor Village is traveling, so he won't able to join today.
Yeah.
So
it is evening time here, and it is morning time in your place. Yeah.
It's afternoon in Europe.
Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Bhatt. We'll be in touch. Thank you for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Now I like to invite Priyanka Rala from Andhra.
Thank you, Girija, for having me. Good evening, respected dignitaries. I am Priyanka from India, and today I am here to render this beautiful composition, Alai Pongera. And this song is all about overwhelmed devotee praising Lord Krishna with joy in the chanting music of flute. Alai pungera kanna మానసమలై పొంగేరా ఆనంద మోహన వేణుగానమునాలాపని కన్నా మానసమలై పొంగేరా నీనవరస మోహన వేణుగానమని అలై పొంగేరా కన్నా మానసమలై పొంగేరా నిలబడి వింటూనే చిత్తరువైనాను నిలబడి వింటూనే చిత్తరువైనాను కాలమాగినది రాదుర ప్రాయమున యమున మురళీధర యౌవన అలై పొంగేరా కన్నా మానస మలై పొంగేరా కనుల వెన్నెల పట్ట పగల్ పాల్చిలుకగా కలుబరేకుల మంచు ముత్యాలు వేలిగే కన్నెమోమున కనుబొమ్మలటు పొంగే కాదిలి వేణుగానం కానడ పలికే కాదిలి వేణుగానం కానడ పలికే కన్నె వయస్సు కలలోలికే వేళలో కన్నె సొగసు ఒక విధమై బోదిగేలే అనంతమనాది వసంత పదాల సరాగ సరాల స్వరానివా నిశాంత మహిత శకుంత మరంద మెడారి గలాన వర్షించవా ఒక సుగంధ వనాల సుఖాల క్షణాల వరించి కౌగిళ్ళు బిగించవా సుగంధ వనాల సుఖాల క్షణాల వరించి కౌగిళ్ళు బిగించవా కడలికి అలలకు కథ కలికలలిడు శశికిరణము బలి చెలించవా చిగురు సొగసులను కరిటాకులను రవికిరణాలే రచించవా అలై పొంగేరా కన్నా మానసమలై పొంగేరా ఆనంద మోహన వేణుగానమునాలాపని కన్నా మానసమలై పొంగేరా నీనవరస మోహన వేణుగానమున అలై పొంగేరా కన్నా థ్యాంక్ యూ ఆల్.
It was a song, traditional song, right?
Yes, sir, yes. Thank you, sir.
It's introduced by our Margi. Now I like to invite His Holiness Raj Rajeshwar Girija from London.
Pranam.
Pranam. Great. What is the time in London now?
London is 2:44 p.m.
See, well is coming in one time now. That's a spiritual time. So Sri Rajarajeshwar Guruji is one of the leading spiritual leader in Britain. He does a lot of events at the Parliament of British Parliament, and he is a chaplain at the police department in London. And he has a ashram in London and India, Siddhashram International. And currently he is the advisor for the value community and NGO representative at the United Nations. Samji, floor is for you.
Good afternoon from London. Namaste, Pranam to everyone. Guru Dileepji, thank you so much. This is the spiritual festival for the Interfaith. And as you said, this is the last event for this year, 2021. I really like that subject on the poster you said about the music and meditations and so different things. It's very important, the spirituality in the interfaith. All the learned and all the dignitary guests, we all know the happiness is so important in our life. But we are finding the happiness from the outside. So many people, they think we have good car, we have good house, we have good clothes, we have good food. This is all happiness. Yes, this is external happiness. What about internal happiness? If we want to grow the plant, we can give the water to leaves. That is one thing. The same time we can put the water on the root as well. That is another thing. So when we put the water in the root, the plant will grow very well. When we put the water in the root, automatically the water will be supply each part of that plant. The same way, if we're looking for the happiness internally, externally happiness will automatically come to us. Give you a good example. As we all know, we all do the meditation for the happiness, and that happiness for the mentally. Each and every fest, each and every religion, they say it. Peace, harmony, and happiness is so important in our life. Peace, harmony, and happiness. If we cannot receive, if this all thing we destroy, through what? Through where? Through the mind. So mind is the main key to receive the peace, harmony, and happiness in our life. So what we should do? We all do the meditation, and the many people have a different trick to do the meditation. Different faith have a different kind of learning skill. Different faith have a different kind of chanting skill. Different faith have a different kind of scriptures, which is, we all say, we have to read and we have to practice. Shall we ask ourselves, how many of us we are following our own religion scriptures? We can talk hours and hours. That is the one thing, is a philosophy. But then what is the practicality? I can write one book, 300 page. You can do this meditation this way and that way, in different way. That is fine. There is a knowledge we can be dispatched to the others, each others, and someone will get that knowledge and they do the practice. But before we teach someone, we have to practice ourselves. And that practice, the first practice for the happiness, is called meditation. What we should do in the meditation? I believe myself doing nothing at all. That is called meditation. Thoughtless mind. And how we can get the thoughtless mind? So the practicing to controlling breathing and mind together. And many different teachers and acharyas and guru, they're teaching the disciples and students to do the meditation through the breathing exercise. Yes, that is the main key, which is we can do the meditation. Starting year 2022, from the mostly last 2 years, we are suffering for the virus, COVID, pandemic, all the different things coming in 2 years. And we never know what is going to be happen in 2022. So the doctor and scientists and everyone said we have to boost our immune system through the vaccine. That is the one part. But the main part of our life, we have to boost our immune system through the mentally. And that is the only one remedies which is they can boost your immune system, mentally immune system. That is called meditation. Doesn't matter which faith you are following, each and every faith they are teaching you prayers, because I believe prayers have a more power. So my little gift for the upcoming New Year's 2022, try to boost your immune system through the meditation, mental immune system. When you are strong with the mentally, you are the winner. If we have a vaccine, but still we are mental weak, then we are in fear. What is going to be happen next? But when you're strong with the mentally, through the meditation, through the chanting, through the prayers, I believe myself, and there's so many example people can win the life. So, Dileep Guruji, I'm so grateful, which is you are organizing the so many different events and festivals. And this is the spiritual festivals. And the spiritual festivals is a spirituality teaching us. You don't have to buy happiness from the outside. You can gain the happiness from the internally. And when you get the happiness from the internally, automatically, externally, happiness will come to you. So my humble request to everyone, do the prayers, do the meditation, sing music, any kind of songs, be free, give your voice to the universe. Universe give you back here the spirituality. Doesn't matter which songs you are singing, doesn't matter Bollywood, Hollywood, spiritual, any kind of songs, at least you sing yourself, you uplift yourself, you uplift with your voice and your word. And I believe 2022, that mentally immune system will be boosted and you are the winner. Guru Dileepji, this is little my gift to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ji. That was wonderful. You brought the importance of meditation and spiritual practice. Cleansing is needed for the body, mind, and the spirit. That's why yogis always push sadhana, practice, practice, practice. Never give up.
Practice.
So thank you, Ji. So we'll be in touch. I appreciate. I'm going to invite one of my friends. That is Sri Sibu Nair. Is the Deputy Director of the South Asian Affairs at the New York State Governor's Office. Sri Sibu Nair, floor is for you. Yeah.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever is appropriate. I know people from all the universities joining the call. So very honored to be on this call with every one of you for the 36th annual Interfaith prayer. My name is Sibu Nair. I am the Deputy Director of Asian American Affairs from New York State Governor's Office. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on the call with religious, spiritual leaders, Guru Dileepji, it's an honor to be with you. The main reason is we both are from the same state of India. We speak the same mother tongue. It's a beautiful session. I started like 20 minutes ago. I saw some beautiful music, people with a lot of experience speaking about the spirituality, yoga, meditation. It's amazing to be on the call with all of you. And also I'm very proud to represent the first female governor of New York State, Kathy Hochul. She's all about diversity, working together as a team. Governor believes that diversity in New York State is amazing, and New York to be home to many of the different heritage and religious believers and interfaith leaders. That is what the strength of New York State. And she looks forward to working with every one of you if we have an opportunity to collaborate in your initiatives or future events. Please let us know. Dileepji has my contact or anyone from the administration if we can, if any help for your future events and initiatives. And I will continue watching this until it is over. And once again, Dileepji, thank you for inviting me to be a part of this. Thank you.
I'm glad you are part of our first female governor. I met her at the Brooklyn Borough Hall some years back. I know she is going to be strongly going to implement a lot of things for immigrants. And New York State in the world filled with the immigrants from every single country around the world. UN has 193 member state and other temporary members, but New York has more than that. That's the beauty about it. UN in New York, capital of New York. I'll say New York City is the
New York is
capital.
definitely a melting pot. Definitely a melting pot.
So definitely you guys can do better for us, support our events. I'm going to come to your office next month.
I will meet you in New York when I am in the city.
Then we'll plan something for June, because that yoga, we want to bring yoga sports to the world for children. We are planning for that part. Thank you, Sibu ji.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Let me see. I'll call Michelle for another song. I'm changing the time schedule a little bit.
Thank you, Girija.
Yeah, thank you.
What I feel is an important element of all that we are doing. The world needs love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Oh Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers enough to cross, enough to last till the end of time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Oh Lord, we don't need another meadow. There are cornfields and wheat fields enough to grow. There are sunbeams and moonbeams enough to shine. Oh, listen, Lord. Lord, if you want to know what the world needs now, love, sweet love, it's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. Oh, not just for some, oh, but for everyone. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Ooh, everyone, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. Ooh, love for Thank you.
That is a different style of song.
Yes.
That's
More of a
good.
pop song.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pete Regina. Peter Regina. Seems like he went somewhere. Let me see. I have one. I'll invite Dr. Frank Kaufman. Dr. Frank.
Good morning, Guruji.
Hi, namaste.
Namaste. Thank you for the opportunity to speak and to be with your important gathering and your illustrious guests. It's a great honor for me. I'm grateful to be in New York. I think I may be one of the luckiest ones on the call because I'm near you, Guruji. And this is an enormous blessing. It affords us the chance to be together more easily and not only officially, that we can take a walk through the city and I can benefit from your moment-to-moment spirituality, that this is the natural part of life. It's the place where one learns more easily. When we meet formally and in official gatherings, it's usually quite difficult to inherit the blessings of a spiritual leader or a spiritual friend, but it's the moment-to-moment parts of life. That's why smart people are members of religious communities. They come around our spiritual leaders on a day-to-day basis, because this is the way we can catch it gives God easier timing to speak to us when we need to hear what we need to learn. So I thank God that I'm near to you, Guruji. I'm impressed with your constant investment in these events. I have a great deal of skepticism about the Zoomiverse. I think that most people jumped into it without much reflection. I think because we can see one another, people were easily deceived to imagine a togetherness. There is indeed a togetherness, but the physical togetherness can never be replaced. And we need to ponder the subtle differences there. But in your case, you have invested so constantly in gathering us that even here in Zoom, you have created a community of genuine love, of genuine feeling, genuine emotion, genuine presence. And that is a real accomplishment. It's a new form of spirituality, I believe, because we did not expect this to befall us. We've never had this in history before, when we can gather in this flat digital way. And so there must emerge a spirituality that is responsive to our new situation. I'm not quite sure how that will be, but you've gone a long way, Guruji, to responding to this crisis and allowing us to form community somehow. I think everyone on the call can recognize genuine feelings of the heart, genuine feelings of love, genuine feelings of fondness. And that's an achievement. And I think we all have you to thank for that. I don't want to speak long. Maybe I already have. I hope not. But the couple of words I wanted to say is that you're focusing on the spiritual today in this meeting, or you call it a spiritual festival. Spirituality is only one small part of religious life. There's many elements of religious life that involve keeping a community together. To keep a community together also involves a certain form of politics. All religious bodies have politics. All religious bodies have kind of domestic relations and foreign relations. A lot of religious bodies seek to have a relationship with the United Nations. But spirituality is the core of religion. It's the reason why all else about it exists. So if we're interested in interfaith, if we're interested in interreligious relations, we need to know all the different elements of religion that need to be engaged. If we're going to focus just on spirituality, then we should look in our religions to see what part of our spirituality is directly dedicated to making believers better interfaith people. We also need to look at what part of our religious economics, what part of our buildings, what part of our daily schedule, everything that goes into maintaining a religious group, all of that, you can have, maybe one day, Guruji, you can have a meeting called buildings, sacred buildings, or artifacts, or scriptures. It can be anything. Today you've picked spirituality. And our spirituality is meant to orient toward interfaith. How do we get along better? How do we relate to other religions better? So if those are the two things on our mind today, then I would ask all of us in humility and in gratitude to be among you. Let's look at our religions. Let's look at its spirituality, and let's see if we are taking seriously knowing the spirituality of each of our unique religious traditions. How does that help the believers, the Hindus the Hindus in our church, the Muslims in our masjid, on our Friday meetings, who we meet week to week? How does the spirituality of our community make our fellow believers of our unique and particular religion better as interfaith people? At the end of the day, I believe and hope and pray that interfaith means nothing more than this. How do I help members of other religions? I as a Hindu, I as a Muslim, I as a Jew, I want to know that as a Jew, how do I help believers in other religions? That's my interfaith. As in their religions, not only as other people. Okay, thanks for the chance to say a few words, Guruji.
You brought right points, because interfaith is not easy to bring to the world. A lot of time religious dogmas or the cultural dogmas will play the role. But we are here to bring people together. So thank you, Dr. Frank Hoffman. I know you did so much for the interreligious community and interfaith community around the globe. You are one of the pioneer, I'll say, in the world, whom I know. Sami Bua was part of it in different events. I know Reverend Moon did a lot of work, and Rabbi Joseph Gerberman did a lot of work. So many of them, and you are one of them. Thank you. Appreciate.
Thank you.
Before I'm inviting small video clip, what we did in the past, I like to show that one to some of the new people. I proudly present this one because of you. We made this one. The first time I made how to make a video, that is this clip for the Interfaith Seminary or All Faith Seminary International when we had the annual celebration in August. So now I like to invite my close friend, our elected official, New York State Assembly member, Assemblyman, Honorable Nader says he has a doctorate and he's an attorney. He's from Yonkers. Honorable Assemblyman, floor is for you. Please unmute yourself.
Good morning.
Morning.
We hear each other. Good morning. It's my pleasure to join, especially 36th annual Interfaith celebration. And really, this is a joyous moment. And for me, being a state representative, I feel as a state representative and as someone that's very involved with community, it's something of a mission for me to really promote interfaith. You know, I've had the pleasure of, sitting and conversing and enjoying the company of His Holiness Guru and Dr. Frank Kaufman, who spoke earlier. We had the pleasure of listening and speaking to Dr. Kaufman, and to listen to his message this morning was really heartwarming. It really promotes what each and every one of us that are listening this morning preach and advocate. And that is really an awareness of our global society. Over the years, those of us that have witnessed regional conflicts and conflicts that evolve as a result of religious differences and other cultural and traditional differences, realize that our world has, over the years and centuries, has witnessed so much trauma and so much, ill feelings and hurt feelings as a result of religion, in some cases, misunderstanding. And when we look at the core of religion, no matter what the religion may be, whether it's Hinduism or Christianity or Judaism or Islam, we realize that we have so much more in common than differences. And as a state representative, I've made it, my goal to really show appreciation to different religions, different traditions, different cultures by means of special resolutions at the New York State Assembly and Senate level. And usually what the New York State Senate and Assembly does is reflected all over the United States, where other states and other legislative bodies do similar things. And by doing these resolutions, it really teaches us awareness to understand the goodness that different people all over the world have, different cultures and traditions and religions. And by showing that respect and showing people through your spiritual festivals is really crucial in that mission. And to listen to you and look at your video really shows how much time, Guru, you've committed, to this cause, and how your efforts to bring people like myself and many others that are listening together really allows us that dialogue, allows us that opportunity to become more aware, allows us the opportunity to listen to what is being done and how it's being done and learn best practices. I'm an educator, I'm an attorney for many years, and one thing I preach to people in general is no matter what the profession, what the duty, what the mission, learn to apply best practices. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel every time. So anytime we learn from each other best practices of how to expand interfaith dialogue, how to do special spiritual festivals and prayers, how to utilize the holiday season that many religions all across the globe are practicing this holiday season, to recognize that during the holiday seasons, when you look at all the religions, all I hear is, the spirit of light and the festival of lights and and light over darkness and good over evil. And really, it's the same message. If you listen to any religious core beliefs, it's that same message of goodness and the betterment of mankind and how to make yourself healthy, both physically and spiritually and emotionally. And these spiritual festivals, really through your leadership and your guidance, allows us that opportunity. I was very proud to honor your holiness, with special recognition and proclamations, because not only is it worthy, but you really dignify that goodness that we need to expand. And I got to understand, all about yoga and the health benefits of yoga and Eastern medicine. I happen to come from a family with many medical doctors, and I've always preached how we need to incorporate Eastern with Western medicine and how to promote holistic medicine and how to make sure, especially now with the pandemic, the urgency and the need for good health and to practice whatever it is that makes us healthier. And as an educator, I've taken an active role as a principal for over 30 years, school principal, and especially as a president of a board of education of a very large school district and president of the Big Five school districts in New York State, to really promote multicultural education, to really promote diversity. And now more than ever, all of us here in the States, in the USA, have witnessed the enormous amount of polarization as a result of politics that has divided societies all across the nation. And to the point where, anarchy and hatred and polarization has divided communities throughout the state. And we've seen a lot of harm to families, harm to communities. We've seen so much division, not even beyond politics, division that really tore communities apart. And during this holiday season, I'm very grateful that we've been able to really utilize volunteerism and humanitarian causes, especially people suffering as a result of the pandemic, food scarcity, to really get people together to donate food and clothing. This past week, we had a major fire in my city of Yonkers, and it really impacted some 50 families. And it's amazing how the community got together. One of the local churches opened up its hall, and people donated clothing and personal items and medical supplies and cleaning supplies. And to me, it's gratifying to see public officials and to see community leaders, religious leaders from every religious community come together and really work to enhance and make better quality of life issues for our residents. So these are just examples that from our dialogue, we can learn, to reach out. I myself, we had an Islamic center that opened up a number of years ago, and they had a school attached, and there was a lot of community friction against this Islamic community center. And I took an active role. I am a Christian, I'm an Arab American, but I also recognize that, as Dr. Frank Kaufman said, we got to sometimes reach out and help each other so that we can put aside what divides us and accept the fact that we can work together, we can help each other, and it's really one global community. So I reached out to the community in that neighborhood and convinced them that here's a center that's going to renovate the community, that's going to bring a school to the community. And sure enough, this center evolved. It's very productive. It's worked very closely with the community. It's helped the community in many causes, in give outs and support mechanisms. And sure enough, I was one of their principals and superintendents as a Christian of a Muslim school to really help them get off the ground and get established. We reached out to Hindu organizations in our community to also other Christian denominations and Jewish organizations where we work together, we support each other. So I'm glad that at least from our experience, it does work and dialogue does work, and we can put aside the differences that divide us, and we can promote understanding, promote goodness. And as we all celebrate, let's push light over darkness and goodness over evil.
Thank you, Honorable Assemblyman. You spoke very well. I know you do, not only speaking. Long time we are friends. So I'm glad you are part of this event. Today we have three elected officials. One is Assemblyman Nader Sayegh and Honorable Jenifer Rajkumar, Assemblywoman, and former Deputy Prime Minister of Nepal, Honorable Sujata Koirala. We four people are on the screen. I am specially recording this moment. I know each one of you have a specialty in your field. I always notice, I watch things. A lot of time I take photos because I know these photos will talk a lot. I don't have to talk about it. Sometimes we make a small clip and send it to people and they ask, who is this person? So I can talk about that person, what they did for good things for the community. So a lot of time we take thousands of photos in our album. We keep it and share with people. It's very important what we do. People should know. I'm glad you are going to the community, giving a lot of items last few weeks. I'm noticing on your social media. Thank you so much. I'm going to make a interview with the three of you. Just wait 10 more minutes. I want to invite.
But by the way, before you invite, I just noticed my colleague and fellow Assembly member Jenifer Rajkumar is on. I just wanted to compliment her for really coming in her first term and really showing a lot of leadership. And as an Asian American woman, you got to be very proud of her. So I'm proud of you.
She's the first Southern Asian woman and the first Hindu to the New York State. That's a proud moment for all the Hindus around the globe. Here I like to invite Honorable Assemblywoman, Honorable Jenifer Rajkumar for your presentation. Thereafter we'll come back again. Thank you.
Thank you so much and for your kind words. Good morning to all. During this holiday season, I am so delighted to appear at this Interfaith holiday celebration. It is now impressively in its 36th year. And I'd like to thank my dear friend Guru Dileepji Maharaj for bringing us together today. It is also great to see my friend and colleague in the State Assembly who just spoke, Assemblyman Dr. Sayegh. He's a pleasure to serve with. And I would also like to greet all of the NGO representatives to the United Nations who are here, and to all the spiritual leaders who are here from all faiths and denominations who have gathered for this great spiritual festival. So for me personally, my spirituality and faith are deeply intertwined with my public service. My faith and my spirituality underlie, animate, and motivate my public service. They are one and the same. My faith is my service is my faith. Last year, we made history when I became the first South Asian woman ever to be elected to New York State office. When I initially embarked on my campaign, it was against all odds, against a longtime incumbent. People told me, you're a nice girl, but you have no shot. But I took a leap of faith, and in the end, we won. Not only did we win, but we won by the largest margin of any challenger in the entire state that cycle. To succeed, I humbled myself before the people. I knocked on doors in the freezing cold weather, so cold that when I shook someone's hand, my hand nearly fell off like an icicle that was breaking. I connected with people across all demographics in all neighborhoods. And then the COVID-19 pandemic hit the globe. There was confusion in the early days of the pandemic as the world changed. we transformed my campaign operation overnight into a COVID-19 help task force, offering help to all in 5 languages, getting doctors on the phone to help people who are sick in their homes, and bringing food to those who were going hungry. My dad told me at that time, I don't know whether you're going to win or lose this race, but either way, you've helped a lot of people. And isn't that what service is all about? But in the end, we did win. And now I have the opportunity to help people in an even greater way. And I am grateful for this opportunity to serve as State Assemblywoman. When I think of what service means to me, I think of the words of the American civil rights hero, Martin Luther King Jr., who was animated by his Christian faith. He said, you don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. And when I think of what public service is, I also think of the words of a beloved Muslim Sufi poet, Jalaluddin Rumi, who said, something opens our wings. Something makes boredom and hurt disappear. Someone fills the cup in front of us. We taste only sacredness. I myself was raised as a Hindu American, and I'm the first Hindu ever elected in New York State. Hindus and Buddhists of the Dharmic faiths believe in sacrificing your focus on material goods to focus on what matters most in life. Too much obsession with material goods and the accumulation of these goods is detrimental and keeps you trapped in a cycle that harms your spiritual health. Mahatma Gandhi himself famously only had 5 worldly possessions, allowing himself to focus solely on his social justice movement. Interestingly, the same strand of thought is found among some of our greatest American political heroes. Robert F. Kennedy beautifully explained in one of his most famous speeches that our nation's GDP, our gross national domestic product, doesn't measure what really matters to us. Money cannot buy what's most important in life. And as part of his speech, he said these words, too much and for too long, we seem to have surrendered personal excellence and community values in the mere accumulation of material things. Our gross national product, now over $800 billion a year. If we judge the United States of America by that, the gross national product counts air pollution and cigarette advertising and ambulances to clear our highways of carnage. It counts nuclear warheads and armored cars for the police to fight the riots in our cities. And it counts television programs which glorify violence in order to sell toys to our children. Yet the gross national product does not allow for the health of our children, the quality of their education, or the joy of their play. It does not include the beauty of our poetry, or the strength of our marriages, the intelligence of our public debate, or the integrity of our public officials. It measures neither our wit nor our courage, neither our wisdom nor our learning, neither our compassion nor our devotion to our country. It measures everything, in short, except that which makes life worthwhile. And it can tell us everything about America, except why we are proud that we are Americans. Robert F. Kennedy made that speech soon after he announced his presidential run in 1968. And soon after that, he was tragically assassinated. But I think that we should never forget that kind of focus on the true measures of a nation, not the nation's wealth, but the nation's values. It has now been exactly 1 year since I have been serving in office, and I am proud to report on my service this holiday season, one of my own bills was signed into law by the governor. I'm proud to announce that more than 300,000 domestic workers, who are primarily women of color and immigrant women, will now be eligible for paid family leave in New York State. My law helps bring dignity and respect to our domestic workers. This year, I also successfully advocated in our state budget for a historic increase in funding to our public schools. Our public schools will now see the greatest infusion of resources they have seen in a generation, $1.4 billion every year for the next 3 years. I have also fought to make the life-saving monoclonal antibody drug more widely available, which could save people afflicted with COVID. And on the ground here in my district, I've hosted food distributions every week, serving hundreds of people fresh food every week for 5 months during the height of the pandemic. My office secured vaccination sites and appointments for many and brought COVID testing to underserved areas. I also built a robust internship program in my office, creating a whole new generation of leaders in public service. And I've worked to bring representation of our diverse voices to the state capitol. I introduced the first ever Nepal Day in New York State, which we will now celebrate every year from now on. Also, a resolution on the floor of the Capitol to celebrate Bangladesh's independence. I also introduced a bill to make Diwali a school holiday in New York City. And for the first time, April became Punjabi Awareness Month in the state of New York, and October became Hindu Heritage Month in the state of New York. It has been an honor to serve. And I would like to leave you with some final words from Mother Teresa, a great Christian who described the spirit of service. It's called Do It Anyway. People are often unreasonable, irrational, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win some unfaithful friends and some genuine enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and sincere, people may deceive you. Be honest and sincere anyway. What you spend years creating, others could destroy overnight. Create anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, some may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today will often be forgotten. Do good anyway. Give the best you have, and it will never be enough. Give your best anyway. In the final analysis, it is between you and your God. It was never between you and them anyway. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Assemblywoman Honorable Jenifer Rajkumar. I love the quote you brought from Mother Teresa. A divine being came to India, made a lot of changes. Somebody can teach us what is real service. I brought that one. I know you have certain of that quality in your service in your district. Your district is Assembly District 38, and another is from 90. You both are my friends, and you do wonderful work for the community. Now I want to bring our political leaders together, and I know Jenifer Rajkumar made the Everest Day and the Nepal Day. Definitely we had to bring Honorable Sujata Koirala to the screen. And let me see who else. Hawa from the UN, Chief of the DGC, one of the section. And definitely our committee member, Dr. Padmini Murthy. We 6 people are in the screen. I'm recording specially. I know this will be a special moment for the world. Basically, I am from an interfaith family. My mother is from a Hindu family. Father is from an Orthodox Christian family. When they had a love marriage, we had really hard time. It affected us and their family and growth. Nobody supported us when we grew up, but because of the education, we all did something good in our life and able to survive ourselves and go around the globe and propagate the real meaning of spirituality beyond any culture or a religion. That's the way we move, even though we have some certain practices. I want to see how we can change the world through our activities. We have political leaders, we have experts from the UN and the NGO leaders. I have a question. What you are going to do in 2022 to make the change different than the 2021? First question will go to Honorable Jenifer Rajkumar.
So 2022, well, the pandemic Omicron strain of COVID is back. So we have gotten, I believe, a lot better at handling COVID, but we're still not out of the woods. So 2022 is the year where we all have to pull it together and emerge from the COVID crisis. And it's going to take everything that we got. But we've had the practice, and we've also learned in 2021 a valuable lesson. I think we all learned that good leadership matters. It really matters more than we ever knew. Good leadership in government. And good leaders in government, it's a life and death matter. That's what I learned during these past couple of years. And so 2022, we're going to be the best leaders that we can be and pull ourselves out of this crisis.
Great. I know Jesus once mentioned, be a servant of servant. When we serve, automatically leadership will happen. So I appreciate Honorable Jenifer Rajkumar joining us, blessing us in this event. I know in future, definitely she will be our backbone for upcoming events. And I want to mention yoga is a universal subject now. Yoga sports is coming to the US now. I want all the elected officials and the UN people to support, because when children can deviate their mind from drugs and alcohol, that is the change will happen. I see around the globe, especially in India, I see young people are more attracted to drugs in different forms. Even children are getting candies with the drugs and small particles of glass pieces. I'm hearing all the stories. It's ridiculous how the people are treating our children. So we need a change. You guys can help. Assemblyman Nader Sayegh, you like to hear from you. Please unmute. Yeah.
Just to follow up on Assemblywoman Jenifer, you know, as we said earlier, we're a global society with the rise of the internet and social media. You know, we're no longer isolated like we were years ago. What happened in South Africa, nobody knows about. What happens in China and India and America. I think, you know, these days and times, you know, to Jenifer's point, dealing with the virus, for example, and the new variant that came out of South Africa, we're looking at it as health officials and government officials and saying, well, if it was mild in South Africa and a month after its inception, it's basically on the downward trend, we're now able here in the USA to say, well, you know, we can anticipate if it's similar to tracking what took place in South Africa, that within a 2-3 week period here in America and New York, that we're able to get it under control. So, you know, we as legislators, you know, have to continue to advocate to government leaders, to health leaders, that they need to be aware of what takes place throughout the world. And they need to be, you know, involved in a way that recognizes from experiences, best practices, how to deal. And from the governmental level in 2022, I think we as legislators will continue to sponsor legislation, will continue to honor and recognize, whether it's yoga, whether it's the different religious holidays, whether it's the different traditions, to really get the rest of the members of the Assembly and the Senate and government and people in general to respect diversity, to respect interfaith. And that's our responsibility from the governmental end. And I myself, and I know, my colleagues would join me in that effort because it's taken place already. So 2022 will be a continuation of the good things we put on the table in 2021.
Dr. Padmini, do you have any questions?
No, thank you so much, Dileepji. I just wanted to first of all thank Honorable Assemblywoman Jenifer Rajkumar and also Honorable Assemblyman Nader Sayegh, because you brought something, and by being on this, you have extended the spirit of cooperation. As a physician and healthcare professional and professor in New York, I think that's one of the beauties of New York, is that we are multicultural, but we are also united. And I would also like to just add that all of us, we need to work, bring our different skill sets. That's what we're doing in addressing the COVID. So Omicron becomes a zero-cron. That's a term I coined so that it will cease to exist. And again, thank you so much. And also a shout out to a good friend and respected colleague, Dileepji, because we all call him Dil, because as we all enjoy Dil Pickle, we enjoy listening to him and how he's the great connector, bringing us all together. So I think, and again, on behalf of the NGOs working in the UN, I would like to tell our honorable elected officials in New York and also Ms. Koirala, we are very happy to work with you because you represent us, but we are behind you to help you in doing this work. So thank you all so much. And hopefully we have a happy and healthy holiday. Back to you, Dileepji.
Thank you. Thank you. I like to hear from Honorable Sujata Koirala ji.
First of all, I'd like to thank you, Dileepji, for inviting me here and giving me this opportunity. Now, the past, I myself have learned a lot from making mistakes and getting too much involved in politics and forgetting the spiritual side and absolutely concentrating on political issues. And so I realized I had cancer. Now 5 years, I started to do meditation. I cured my cancer, not taking chemotherapy. Every doctor told me to take chemo, but I didn't take. I changed my lifestyle. I changed completely my lifestyle, and I started to believe in spiritual activities, spiritual talks, started to listen to spiritual talks and meditating and doing yoga. That improved my health a lot. And I realized that this spiritual learning also gives you happiness. Meditation brings you happiness. I used to have anxiety. I used to fear. I had fear. I was depressed that I had cancer. I cannot do politics anymore. I was so much involved in different issues, and I had fear of dying. So I overcome all this, and I think I'm one of the most happiest person now. I realized a lot of things. So we have to teach our people, also the politicians, to have a spiritual side, not to only focus on politics, also on the spiritual side and yogas and type of exercises, music, dancing, art, culture, not to forget that other part of the life. And that will give you a positive thinking, and I think you can work better in future. And now I feel nothing like last time, we had election. I lost election and people thought I'll be very unhappy, but I'm very happy. I have no complaint, nothing to lose. My life is safe. I still work, I do social work, nothing has. The positive thinking also gives you strength and happiness. And this is what most of the politicians, because I am a political person, so I'm talking about politicians, most of us, political people, we forget that. And we forget that the inner happiness, and we think that everything what we are doing, politics is the most happiest thing, but actually that innerly we are not happy, because that gives you a lot of negative thoughts. That brings a lot of nice thoughts. So I think we have to try and be happy so we can make better society, and we can do better work and also make people happy. Thank you so much. And I like to invite all of you to Nepal.
Any moment we'll take the flight. So this thing you brought the point of positiveness. It's a very important to be positive every single moment. When you serve, when you do work for other people, there's a meaning for our life. When I think about only myself, there's no meaning. That's why we had to educate every single being how to serve the community. Before becoming a politician or a business person or any other official, they should learn how to serve the community through NGO or without NGO. That doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Then they will understand the value of the life. We can have so many titles, you know. I still sleep on the floor. Still sleep on the floor. 1 meal a day, one chai, that's it. But 24 hours, my phone is on 24 hours. Even midnight people call, I answer. If they bother, simply bother, I say, oh, stop it. Otherwise, I answer. I know people need help. If I can do something, be an inspirational person before I expire. That's a service we learn from my parents.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to hear from Ms. Hawa Diallo.
Sure, thank you so much. I'm really inspired with everything I'm hearing. Thank you to our elected officials. Super proud of Assemblyman Rajkumar. I mean, I mentioned already, Nepal is a place I want to go to. I'm an honorary Bengali because I have so many Bengali friends. And I'm always celebrating Diwali. I've always been surrounded by great friends and sisters and brothers from the Indian subcontinent. So congratulations on the good work you've done. Assemblyman Nader, also congratulations. You must know the United Nations has a good working relationship with the New York City Commissioner for International Affairs, Penny Abewandena, and also her deputy, Dileepkumar. They do a lot of engagement, advocacy work with my department specifically, Department of Global Communications. So have always been appreciative of that relationship. And I hope that going into 2022 that, we also can work together with you in the local context in which you're really making great strides. I mean, what I'm thinking about for 2022, Guruji, and what I should say is when Guruji calls, I pick up the phone. I leave everything and I pick up the phone and I answer. 2022, I always say that, I do a lot of speaking engagements like many people here. And with the young people that I work with, I always tell them talk is cheap. And there's a lot of talk at the UN. Talk is cheap. I want to see action. I want to see, the organization that I work in implementing the things that are enshrined in the UN Charter. So personally for me, 2022, I want to be more accountable. And again, I'm blessed, Assemblywoman Rajkumar, looking at lessons learned, like you said. Somebody said, why reinvent the wheel? The best practices are there. How can I be more accountable so that when I get off this platform, where I'm talking a lot of nice, sweet things and hearing a lot of good stuff, I'm walking into the path of putting these things into action, and not just saying it because it sounds good and people want to hear it. But more importantly for me is how can I, as a staff member of the United Nations, make my organization more accountable so that talk is not cheap, so that the things that are set out in resolutions by member states, 193 of them, as you said, Guruji, and the things that the United Nations itself, puts as key priorities, that we really, we walk the talk, and that we really are sincerely, genuinely getting that work done. I said in another platform, racism is something the United Nations was talking about a lot in 2021, because even in a multilateral organization like that reality exists. I am African, I'm a Black woman, You know, I am an American citizen, proudly so, but my roots are from the continent. So I myself have experienced racism within that, awesome organization that I love so much. So the United Nations was talking a lot about racism, but I said, then, I mean, we got to put our money where our mouths are. I don't want to get off a platform and then the minute I go into the next meeting, bam, there it is in front of me. It's no longer the white elephant in the room. So my aim is to make sure, again, as I said, my organization, including myself and my colleagues, are accountable for what comes out of our mouths. Over to you. Thank you.
Yeah, Sami Bua used to say, when you say any words to other people, be careful. A bullet coming out from the gun cannot go back. So make sure what you are saying. So I try to keep mouth shut. We never know. So sometimes we have to react. People do all the messy things in front of us. Then we have to be stubborn, be bold towards certain moments. And after that, we will make it nice again. And this is experience. When you mentioned about the discrimination, I had a really hard time. When I grew up, my dad was light, my mom was dark. I got a brownie color. And some people won't accept us in the church or the temple. Now they accept everywhere because I move around, made name. Maybe because of that. Some people look at it as a bald guy. Who is this guy? They have different attitudes, So we take everything, absorb and digest and make us strong. That's the thing I learned. So never give up. Move on, keep moving on. That's the way it is. I'm so happy that Honorable Assemblyman Nader Sayegh and Assemblywoman Honorable Jenifer Rajkumar and Honorable Sujata Koirala and Ms. Hawa Diallo join us and bless the occasion, because this is a history is going to happen. We'll make a book very soon. 50 years of my work I want to compile in a book with everybody's write-ups, proclamations, everything. I want to make it. This will be a model for youth. A boy came from Kerala, went through a hardship in different ways, and how we accomplished and how we change negativity to positivity. And teach children. This will be a model. That's why I do the hard work. Thank you, everyone. Dr. Padmimurthy, thank you. Now we are going for the religious and faith prayers. Start with Imam Shamsi Ali. He's traveling. He's just joined from California. Imam Shamsi Ali, floor is for it.
Morning.
Morning.
Namaste, shalom, peace. Assalamu alaikum to everybody. I'm thrilled to see our Assemblywoman Jenifer and Assembly Mr. Sayegh and other politicians here joining our religious leaders. And from the United Nations, Ms. Hawa, such a tremendously joyful to everyone to see that our guru, which means in our language teacher, is able to bring such tremendously diverse background, diverse backgrounds coming together for the same common platform and common ground and the same purpose, and that is to bring our humanity back together. Guruji, thank you so much for this opportunity. I just landed. I'm in New York, but soon I'm have to jump somewhere else. Happy holidays to everyone and early Happy New Year. As we're approaching the end of the year, I'm just last night I was reflecting back in these past months, and I think our conclusion says that we have been deeply challenged. There is no doubt about that. COVID-19, have taken many lives. Many have got sick, lost their jobs. But what is now a paramount important concern is about mental health crises, including here in our own backyard in America. And we have to take this very, very seriously. In my own community, Muslim community, oftentimes we see this, we take this for granted that we are Muslim, we are nice people. We are Muslim, we are healthy. There are people are sick mentally, and because of the pandemic COVID-19. But what also saddens us for the 2021, we see a deep polarization in America, politically, racially. Racism is on the rise. Political hate is on the rise. And then economic disparities. The rich are becoming richer and the poor are becoming even poorer. This is a concern to everybody. And I think this is the work that the United Nations is working, how to minimize the gap between the haves and the have-nots. That is your responsibility, my brothers and sisters. Resources are being manipulated, abused, and you see what happened to our climate change, natural disasters. But also we have seen violence around the world, including political violence. And it's all concern us, brothers and sisters. Now here, we are reminded by an old saying, it says, enough for evil to thrive when the good people do or say nothing. And so it is our moral and religious responsibility to raise our voice against all those evil and vices in our world. And once again, we are reminded that our world is a globalized world. And one of the most important characteristics of global world is a deep interconnectedness. No one is living by him or herself. There is no barrier between us. What is happening to the Muslims, happening to the Hindus, happening to the Jews, happening to the Christians, there is no barrier between us. We are all on the same boat. We are all on the same shared home, this planet. So we are deeply interconnected, and therefore we must remind ourselves of what Jesus told us, that love your neighbors as yourself, and what Prophet Muhammad told us, that none of you is truly believing until he loves for others what he loved for himself. Finally, in this difficult moment, I hope and optimism, as our Guruji said, that never give up. Our hope and optimism must keep high, inshallah, God willing. Very short and brief prayer. God, help us to break down the walls that separate us. Help us to build bridges of understanding, love, and cooperation. Reunite us in bonds of love, that may all members of human family obtain prosperity, freedom, and justice. And may we all live in peace and harmony. Thank you, Guruji. Keep well.
Thank you, Imam Shamsi, Dr. Shamsi Ali. He is the president of Nusantara Foundation and the advisor to the Value Committee. Thank you so much. You always support us for years. Thank you. Appreciate. Now I'd like to invite grandmother Patricia Ann Davis. She's from the two Native American tribe and the advisor for the Value Committee. Grandmother, floor is for you.
It's so beautiful, Guruji, to be a part of this gathering. I met you in the streets of Harlem, and you immediately embraced me. We've been friends ever since, and we were dancing and singing in the streets of Harlem. So I want to thank you for this spiritual celebration, especially for including the indigenous context. And that's because we're carrying this label, quote, Native American or American Indian. And these are labels that we don't have use for ourselves, because our own language to identify ourselves is always people, or holy people, or children or grandchildren of the holy people, in that sense that it's inclusive, that our primordial ancestors are all holy people. So therefore I present to you that Five Fingers people, I really want you to listen here. I'm going to say words and these vibrations that go out and translate that. Ordinarily, usually I'm prepared with a formal affirmation. Today I want to speak spontaneously and teach and describe some of the words that I'm speaking. This is from Dileepji, which is a ceremonial spiritual language and sacred words. And Bella Ashlai is Five-Finger people. And Diyan Nahuka Dene is holy earth surface people. And then my greeting also is Ya'ate Shik'e Shidne, my family, my relatives. That's an embrace. Notice that I didn't leave anyone out in these way of greeting you. There's no way to exclude a person in this language. And although we have been identified in derogatory terms, and there has been a historical erasure of Indigenous people worldwide, I want to eliminate before the new year the terms like pagan, heathen, savage, only good Indian is a dead Indian, the vanishing American Indian, and so on. These are not appropriate in English, and not appropriate for the people, the original people of this land. So I want you to hear exactly the terminology, the spiritual identity of all of the more than 500 tribes who are not extinct and still existing here. It is that we're stewards of the earth, water, fire, and air. And so when we say we begin our affirmation with Hojo Doles, which is we're forever existing in the beauty and the love and the peace and the joy and good health collectively. That's how we start. Nahasan Hima is our sacred holy Mother Earth, and we're traveling on our spiritual journey. Jonah A, that's Father Sky, so to speak, and then Yatishkith, which is the all-encompassing concept of holiness and sacredness that we eternally exist in. And then the divine feminine and divine masculine, Hashte One, that is existing within us. And then we're existing also in the earth, water, fire, and air in the environment. And so this is how our healing ceremonies then are for remembering and reawakening to this Hojo. And there's no competing ideologies. There's no competing collectivities. In other words, there's no mind-body dichotomy. There is no dualistic compartmentalized thinking. Spirituality removes, and we're able to see through our spiritual eye that we're existing in the unifying principles. And so you may not have heard tribal language described and interpreted in such a way. And so there's always the reference to Indasya is everything is created for a purpose. Adonilia, and placed in the four sacred cardinal directions, which is a teaching from east, south, west, north, sunrise, noon, evening, midnight, spring, summer, fall, winter, the child, the youth, the adult, and parent, and the elder, and the grandparent. And then Hojo Nasha Doles, which is that I'm walking in goodness and beauty. We have to see that beauty in order to love one another. So our healing ceremony is to celebrate literally living the loving way as a way of life. That's how my late aunt described to me in English. Hear that, living the loving way as a way of life. And therefore, this is about the power within us. Co-creative means with creator within us, to have power within, to have power with. And so when people ask me, who is your God and who is creator? And I'm using the word begin, which is the sacred breath of our maker, our creator, of all of us equally, that we're moving around and we're making this sound. And so let us use these sounds in such a way that we're not, that is humane. That is the meaning of five-finger people, is that humane beings. And in this way, then we eliminate the need for power over. So ultimately, we don't really say that we have a way of bargaining or petitioning, but rather I'm going to use the word affirm. And I will end with the phrase, Hojo Nahaskli, Hojo Nahaskli, Hojo Nahaskli. And that is basically love and peace and joy in the light of the light. Healing is for everyone. Good health, abundance, plenitude is forever existing within us and around us. Thank you, thank you, my family, my relatives from the southwest of the Mississippi Band of Choctaw, born into the Kachitni and Kiaani of the quote label Navajo Nation, the people of the reservation that exists in this land, a vast place and a beautiful place that I am born and grew up and where I come and following my father's tasks, giving me the instructions to undo the thinking that caused our people so much suffering and violence. Thank you.
Thank you, Grandmother Patricia, for a wonderful prayer and message. And serving well your community as a representative for indigenous community to the United Nations. I know we had to do a lot for the indigenous community around the globe. We will try our best. Let us see. Thank you. Now we'll go for a dance. Then we'll invite Rabbi Paris. 1 minute.
मुरी बंसी बजैया नंदलाला कन्हैया मुरी बंसी बजैया नंदलाला कन्हैया मुरी बंसी बजैया नंदलाला कन्हैया मुही मुही ऐसे नहीं छेड़ा सावरे सुन सुन माँ से नहीं खेला दावरे जाके यशोदा से दूंगी रे कान्हा सुजा जरा ओ कान्हा सुजा जरा लुक छुप के तकियो ना मुही कान्हा सुजा जरा ओ कान्हा सुजा जरा नैनों से ना छूना मुही कान्हा सुजा जरा ओ कान्हा सुजा जरा कान्हा सुजा जरा ओ कान्हा सुजा जरा सुनी जो तेरी मुरली चली रे चल दे पिया मुरी वो झूलनी गाऊं तेरे ही गीत क्यों ले मैं तेरी हो गई चढ़ गई तेरी पे तेरे दोष मेरा कान्हा सुजा जरा ओ कान्हा सुजा जरा कान्हा सुजा जरा ओ कान्हा सुजा जरा कान्हा सुजा जरा ओ कान्हा सुजा जरा मदना मदसूदना मनोहरा मनमोहना मदना मदसूदना मनोहरा मनमोहना
That's a beautiful dance. Now I'd like to invite our rabbi, beloved rabbi, Stuart Paris. He is the current president of the All Faith Seminary and the New Light Temple. I serve in that organization as a trustee. It's my great blessing to be part of it. Because of Rabbi Joseph Gelberman, he used to come to my events since 1999. When he passed away, I was thinking, what happened? Then Rabbi one day called, Guruji, can you be part of our organization? Here I am to serve. Rabbi, floor is for you.
Guruji, my dear brother and friend, thank you. Namaste. This has been quite a morning for me to be a part of this, to hear others speak. The word behind you is spiritual festival. And I'm reminded that in the word spiritual, there are two hidden words. First word is spirit, and the second word is ritual. The spirit is in the dance, in the smile, your smile especially, Guruji, in the pictures that you show us from your work around the world, and the wonder that you bring to all those you touch. The ritual is different for each of us. There is one truth. There are many paths. We each go on our own path. And what I'd like to do today is share some of the ritual from my path, which is the path of Judaism. When I was a little boy, the very first prayer that I learned was taught to me by my grandmother, actually my great-grandmother, who came here from Poland. And she told me a story. And I must have been 3 years old when I heard this story, and it could be true. The story is that when we go to sleep at night, our souls leave our body, and they go up to heaven. And there's a court, a night court of angels, and the court says to the soul, the angels say to the soul, "So soul, how was your day today? Did you love? Were you kind? Did you do good deeds?" And some souls get sent back and some don't. And we don't know the difference until the eyes open in the morning for those souls that have returned the spark of life from God. So I was taught this prayer as a young boy, and I've said it every day since. Modeh ani lefanecha shechazarta binishmati b'chem l'raba amunatecha sela. Thank you, God, for restoring my soul to my body and giving me another day of life. This is how I begin my day every day since I am a little boy, with a song. Modeh ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam shechazarta bi nishmati nishmati b'chem l'raba amunatecha sela. And I say, Boker tov ribono shel olam. Good morning, God in heaven. And I say in English, which is my native language, thank you, God, for restoring my soul to my body. And then I go through my gratitude list. Thank you for who I am. Thank you for what I have. Thank you for my beautiful wife, for our 5 children, their spouses, our 11 grandchildren, the beautiful friends that I have, friends like Guruji and others on this wonderful event today. Thank you for giving me the ability to make a difference while I'm on this planet. Just gratitude. And I try to stay in gratitude throughout the day. And then I say the central prayer of Judaism, 6 words from the 5th book of the Torah. I cover my eyes so that I'm not distracted, and I say, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. And I give it a translation that was delivered to me by my beautiful teacher, Rabbi Gelberman, Guruji, your special friend. Listen, O Israel. Listen, O humankind. The Lord our God, the Lord is one. If there is one God, and we are all the children of that one God, what does that make us to one another? Guruji, you and I are brothers. Everybody on this call is a relative of mine. Wouldn't it be beautiful if humankind can embrace this thought and come together as family? We argue, we have disagreements, but we always come back to love and peace and understanding. That's what we teach in Judaism. It's an amazing thing. The Shema continues as to how we do it. How do we stay connected to that one God? It says, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your might, with all your soul. And these words which I command you this day, you shall teach them diligently unto your children. So it's transferred from generation to generation, the parental responsibility. And further, it goes on back to the third book of the Bible, which says, "Ve'ahavta le'erecha kamocha," you shall love your neighbor as yourself. It's all about love. Loving your neighbor as yourself is not an easy task. Loving the neighbor is easy. Loving oneself is not so easy sometimes. And that's our job, to turn on our light every day, this wonderful light of the soul that God gives us, and be the best person we can be and make a difference on the planet. We believe in Judaism in a concept called tikkun olam, which is healing the world. I'm not sure that we can really heal the entire world as an individual, but I know that we can heal one individual at a time by loving, by being kind, by speaking softly, by listening well, remembering that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, listening to others, letting them be right. They could be right, and we could be right as well. I never say yeah, but to anybody. I say in addition, so that we share our thoughts together. And I'd like to conclude with a Kabbalistic teaching from my beautiful teacher, Rabbi Gelbman, from his teacher, Abraham Abulafi, in the 13th century, to Isaac Luria in the 16th century, great Kabbalists. They believe that if you look at something in its entirety and you take it apart and look at its individual pieces and put it back together, you will understand its essence. What does it mean to have life, to be truly alive? This blessing that we are given very first thing in the morning when we open our eyes. How do we do it? How are we God's partner? How do we cleave unto God throughout the day? We look at the word life, the 4 letters, L-I-F-E. To be truly alive is to be loving unconditionally, to be inspiring unconditionally, to be forgiving unconditionally. That's the hard one. And to be excited unconditionally, like we are on this call today. That's our purpose. That is tikkun olam. And finally, in this day of pandemic, I want to share something that Rabbi Gelbman has taught us. He used to go from place to place and find divinity in all traditions. And he was in an ashram one day. I was in an ashram at the Millennium, and I heard this as well, and it resonated with me as well. He was in an ashram and he heard a chant that really resonated with him as it resonated with me in 2000 in the ashram I visited. Om Namah Shivaya. When I heard that, I wept. Warm, loving tears of joy. He did as well. When he returned from the ashram, he realized that we could take that beauty, that divine, take divine from Judaism and put them together. We have a prayer that we recite at the conclusion of every service. It's called the Adon Olam. And the last stanza, I won't say it in Hebrew, I'll say it in English. In his hand I deposit my soul. In her hand I deposit my soul. With my soul I deposit my body also. God is with me. I will not fear. Adonai li v'lo ira. And what did Rabbi Gelbman do? He put these 2 divine things together. Om Namah Shivaya. Adonai li v'lo ira. God is with me. I shall not fear. Fear is the greatest sin. If we have fear, we don't have faith. And to all people throughout the world today in this age of pandemic, I want everybody to understand, please know that God is with you. God loves you. There is nothing to fear because God is with you at your side. and this too shall pass. Amen. Thank you, Guruji. I love you.
Thank you, Rabbi. That was beautiful. What a great blessing working with you for last 6 years as a trustee. It is so beautiful we are coming together and training interfaith ministers around the globe. I hope those who believe in open spirituality, please join at our seminary, All Faiths Seminary International. You can contact me or go to Google search, you get the website. Sometimes I put it on my social media. Thank you, Rabbi, for your great presence and blessing and message.
Thank you, Guruji. Namaste.
Now I like to invite Miss Nancy Pascal. Where is she? Nancy Pascal? Then silent mode. Okay. Then I had to call Kripal Singh. You are here. Okay. Yeah, Dr. Kripal Singh ji, unmute yourself. Floor is
Thank you, sir. Guruji, namaste.
Namaste, namaste.
Namaste, and my brothers and sisters, namaste and greeting whatever you believe in. Shalom, Sat Sri Akal, Ram Ram, Salam Alaikum, whatever your tradition, please accept my greetings. Guruji, first of all, I'd like to commend you for your energy and the ability to put all these events together, including this spiritual festival. Secondly, thank you for inviting the Sikhs to participate in that. And all the speeches I've heard so far, they've been wonderful. And I also want to thank Assemblywoman Jenifer, Rajkumar, for being instrumental in creating the Punjabi awareness event in New York. So what I want to bring in your attention is, if you look at my red ribbon, a redness, this is a symbol of joy, because of Christmas and so many other festivals. A religious tradition will celebrate that. But on the other hand, this also is a reminder of the blood spilled by Guru Nanak successors in the defense of the human rights and protection of them. If you look at my background picture, there's a family of Guru Gobind Singh. And that family is his 4 sons, his mother, his father, and top his figure. All these people, his mother, his 4 sons, and before that his father, they all gave their lives for the protection of the human rights. And this is, we're talking about the 16th century. And it beautifully coincides with that UN Declaration of Human Rights, which is December 1948. So the Sikh struggle, the core of Sikh spirituality has been interfaith understanding and implementation of some institutions so as to bring it together. One of the concepts is langar, having everyone contribute to the, in food or form or work, whatever, and put together a meal and serve each other and the others who are not able to afford for themselves, and then clean the place and back again when we come back there again. So the concept, no matter what your religion, what your faith, nationality, whatever socioeconomic status, everyone is welcome. And that's when the tradition continued during this COVID period in India, in United States, Canada, all other countries. That's one way to ensure the human rights, which is to appease hunger, take care of the hunger, which is perpetuated by Guru Nanak's teachings and his successors. Then they also introduced digging of the wells and water reservoirs where water could be used, clean water, for the benefit of all people, no matter what their faith traditions were. Same way they created places of worship where everyone can come and sing the glories of the God and encourage each other to be friends. And then when the people who opposed that coming together and they started terrorizing the Sikh community, then they had to rise up in the form of arms resistance too, not by choice, but forced upon them for protection of the people who believed that human rights are important and also defense of those human rights is important. So it created, Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th Guru, created a special order called Khalsa, which is recognizable by their long hair, turbans, bracelets, a little sword to remind social justice, comb to remind how cleanliness is important, and also modesty. So having said that, the whole idea was to emphasize we are all equal. We all deserve, in the name of God, to collaborate and treat each other well. Here's a little prayer I like to say at this time. This is by Guru Gobind Singh. This says, someone shaves the head and calls himself an ascetic, another a practitioner of yoga, another hermit, another a celibate, another a monk. Some are Hindus, some are Turks, some are Shiite Muslim preachers, some are Sunni Imams. Ensure that you acknowledge the human race as one. The creator called Karta, that's a Hindu name. The Kareem, the Muslim name, is the same. The compassionate and sustainer is the same. There is no other. Let us not be mistaken or have doubts about another. Worship only the one God, who is the supreme spiritual teacher of all. All are manifestations of the one form, all humanity, the embodiment of one light. This is how this prayer ends. And in the Sikh prayer, at the end, we say, Nanak Nam Chardi Kala, Tere Bhane Sarvadda Bhala. That means live your life in gratitude. This will exalt your spirit. And the energy and joy created by that exalted spirit, which is Chardi Kala, work toward the common good of all, irrespective of religion, race, gender, socioeconomic status, or any other differences. Thank you for letting me express my views. Vaheguru Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ki Fateh. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Kabalji, joining us. That was wonderful to bring the history of Sikhism. And Jenifer, Rajkumar supporting the Sikh community in New York City very well. We gather for some of the events there. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. Now I'd like to invite Reverend Dr. T.K. Nakagaki, the founder and president of the Hawa Foundation, and long-time friend of mine, and we do so many events together for years. TK, floor is yours.
Thank you so much, and my always my pleasure to be Guruji, of course Guru Dileepji, and many occasions. And so I would like to really congratulate first of all this 36th annual Interfaith prayer service and holiday celebration, and it's. So you've been doing so wonderful job, things for the community. It's really amazing. And but one thing today, I think one thing I wanted to mention was I was here from the beginning, so I hope I don't miss it. But I went to the bathroom in between. So, this the Archbishop Desmond Tutu passed away 2 days ago, and which is for me is very big loss for the religious leaders. And then he has been very what do you call it? Everybody probably know anyway. I don't have to have any explanation, but of course, appetite is most one of the parts that part of his life, and as the yeah, Assemblywoman, the mention about Mother Teresa, I was actually thinking of the Desmond Tutu, who died 2 days ago at the age of 90, and he was, of course, Nobel Prize winner. Yeah, so everybody knows from that sense, but he has been, the living kind of embodiment of his faith. Of course, he's from Christian tradition, but yet in action, he's doing a lot of wonderful work together. Like actually, one of the memorial for me is I went to Hiroshima in 2006, and then because three Nobel Prize winners came to Hiroshima on that year. One is His Holiness Dalai Lama, and the other one is Betty Williams, and then Desmond Tutu, Venerable Desmond Tutu. The three of them are spending time in Hiroshima for two and a half days, almost full 2 days, and or 3 days. My memory is not correct either, maybe, but so. And actually, that was the first time for me to understand Desmond Tutu very well, because he has to speak English very slow, and then translator, so that's why I understand much better. Most of the time, I couldn't really get it because of the English parts, but then so wonderful. And I still remember one of the quotes that I always feel very important at that point was something like we versus them. But then we just need to have everybody supposed to be we instead of divided for this person and that person. So that particular equality, the mind of equality, was very important from that sense, and so that's one of the memory that I have. And then actually we have a little breakfast and so forth. We meet because everybody, not too many people are there. So it was a very good moment. But then at the same time, I think, that we should all, remember some of a lot of things that he said he did, and for the peace and the justice. And so we, it's blessing. Actually, my tradition of the Buddhism is a Pure Land Buddhism. Shinran is a founder, and actually he passed away at the age of 90 as well. So I feel a little connection with that too. And it's a Christmas weekend. He passed away on Sunday. So Sunday is something important for the Christians. So I guess that's most appropriate time he passed away, but yet he left a lot of messages for us. So I hope you will remember those. And with that, sorry about the long introduction, but I thought I should mention. And so I just wanted to have inviting the meditation. So I think one of the most important things for us to learn is also ourselves first, and then what is the truth, and so the Dharma in our parts. So for me, the most important part for the Buddhist tradition, in my opinion, is when the Buddha passed away. Right before Buddha passed away, last teaching was, what do I have to do, because he's getting old and he's ready to die. And then the last message is basically to learn. Make yourself the light, make the Dharma, the truth, the light. So which means we all need to learn ourselves, and we all need to learn the truth. So with that, I would like to lead the just short meditation. So please sit with your backs straight and relax yourself and follow your breath. And so we can reflect upon this year as we celebrate New Year's, holidays. But at the same time, we can probably reflect upon even today's, the talks, wonderful, wonderful talks. So maybe we can reflect upon those. And so that's the first 3 bells that I would like to ring. And then after that, we can think what we can do. 粛読平等性一切同発菩提心往生安楽を願わくはこの功徳をもって平等に一切に施し同じく菩提心を起こして安楽国に往生せ南無帰依仏南無帰依法南無帰依僧 May all beings, living beings, be happy, well, and peaceful. May we all be free from suffering. May we all be free from pain. May we all be free from attachment, from greed, anger, and ignorance. May we all attain ultimate happiness and peace of enlightenment. Namaste. Peace to you all. Thank you so much. Have a happy new year. Take care.
Happy New Year. Take care. That was good meditation. I'm glad we are doing so many peace and interfaith events together and bringing some important point to open up for the world. That is the symbol from the Hindu tradition.
Yes. I don't know whether I should mention it or not. So I didn't mention it. But it's.
So we'll keep work on that one. Now I want to introduce two of my friends. That is Nancy Pascal. She's the director of the faith section at the mayor's office, and my close friend. Recently, we became close friends. That's Dr. T.P. Shashikumarji. I'll invite Nancy Pascal to give a message first before TP is going to speak. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to see everyone on this call. Thank you, Guru, for always putting this together. It's such an amazing event. So sorry that we can't do it all in person. I do have to make a correction. Guru, you always forget, but well, you've forgotten, but I have recently left the mayor's office. This transition time. Yes.
I thought you were leaving after the 31st.
No, I wanted to take some time for my family. And the city owes me some money, a lot of overtime and vacation days that I never used.
Yeah.
So I've just recently left. So there is no faith person at the moment. Actually,
Still you are in charge until next
so,
comes.
But what I do want to say, you know, I represent city government, and never before has the city done so much to reach out to faith leaders. And, you know, I really was touched and moved by the work that I've seen faith leaders do throughout the city. I have a very, very unique privilege, or had a very unique privilege, in that I was able to see faith from a bird's eye view. I was able to see faith work throughout the entire city. And so the powerfulness of the work that you do, many times you don't see it because you only see it in your own little bubble, in your own little space. But when you really look out over the city, you see that faith leaders are keeping the people who fall through the cracks. You touch everything from homelessness, poverty, to everything that affects the mental health. Faith leaders have been amazing in that and helping the city spread the word. And so my recommendation and my prayer for you guys, I'm not a faith leader, but my prayer is that you continue these interfaith efforts, and not even efforts, but these interfaith gatherings, because they are so, so powerful. I wish more people can see the type of work that faith leaders do. And my last piece of advice is to continue on with social justice as your stepping stone, because the faith comes with it, and people are drawn to you by the invisible work that needs to be told. So I'll keep it short and sweet, but I thank you all for all of your work that you've done. And once again, your work many, many times is invisible. When you help the poor, the needy, the downtrodden, many people will not rise you up for that. So once again, I thank you so much for all of the work that you guys have done and will continue to do. And I have been blessed and touched by being in your presence. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nancy Pascal. I know we do events together, so many events we were together, and you serve the community very well, especially within your limit, you did well. I had to say that one. Even if you continue your work at the mayor's office, it doesn't matter for us. We look who did work for the community, nothing else. Thank you so much. Appreciate you taking your time to support us. Thank you. Now I'd like to invite Dr. T.P. Shashikumarji. He led wonderful Bhagavad Gita class for some months since August. He served in the government of India as a director for the security section in the parliament. And he was a scientist in ISRO. Some people don't know what is ISRO. That's like NASA in India. And he worked in different organizations, spent time with the different masters. Actually, he's a self-made man. That's why I say a spiritualist. T.P. Shashikumarji, my brother. Sorry.
Namaskaram, Dileepji, for this kindness, and pranams to all the great speakers and listeners. In fact, after listening to so many people who looked at spirituality, religion, interfaith, festival, life, whatnot, divinity, inside and outside, I have nothing to add, in fact. But having given an option, a person who is always into teaching, I couldn't resist. But Ms. Hawa was telling that people should not speak, they should only do actions. But after that also so many people spoke. Most of the people use spirituality, meditation, yoga, so many words, and start teaching for a capsule. 1 minute, come into meditation, go out into meditation. And some people also talk about manifesting joy, peace, share happiness through meditation. But immediately they use the word saying, getting into self is meditation. It's actually contradicting and conflicting. When you say you are getting into yourself, understanding your inner self, getting your consciousness very clear, and you be alone, forgetting about the world around, then how can you spread happiness? Spreading happens only in society. So I relate to that. In the management paradigm, we have got what is called a Maslow's triangle. You cannot get into spirituality when your physical world is in unrest. So I think probably that is the reason the spiritual festival, we keep calling politicians and giving them the first priority. Because without that base, nothing happens. So you need a lot of physical parameters to be set in place. Wonderful. Unless that physical parameters are set, your brain cannot work, intellect doesn't work. Then your emotion doesn't work. Probably then you can start sharing with the society, with the songs, music, sound. A poor man who is feeling hungry, you sing song, he will scold you. So you need to get into that parameter where the societal mix happens only when you get into a minimum requirement of physical, emotional, intellectual balance. And once you get into the society, probably the extreme end is spirituality. But then most of the people keep skipping these and then playing around it. That's one of the biggest mistake, and that is why it has become a marketing program than a realization program. Actually, it's a realization which should happen internalized by yourself. We don't require too many people as great masters in spreading this. Like we have few politicians, we should have only few people who understand this. Meditation is not what you close your eyes and then listen to music. Meditation in action. I'm sure when Mashal sings, it is her profession, it's her action. She is into meditation. When Dr. TPS speaks, I am into meditation. When doctor does surgery, she is in meditation. It is not after surgery you close your eyes and then breathe and then become meditative. Your actions becomes. I am a good driver, while driving it becomes meditation. So I am from Swami Rama's Himalayan tradition. We believe meditation in action. So meditation is not something else after that. It's like when I feel eating, I should feel my tummy is full. But soon after I stop eating, again if I feel hungry, then eating has no meaning. So most of the people get into meditation, they come out to the material world again in problems. That should not happen. It is not realizing or getting the hold of your breath, controlling your breath. We have got a great guru called Ramana Maharshi. He says, Prana bandhanat liyate mana. You hold your breath, your manas. It is not mind. Manas is the emotional control. That can be released. But it is like putting a bird inside a nest. The time you open it, it will fly. So it has no meaning. So all the traditional meditation practice, which the word itself is samadhi, which is not acceptable to this modern style of showing meditation. It is not showing, it is being meditation, which is important. That is a self-realization activity. That is the peak of this world. Vivekananda easily told, if you want meditation, I will teach you. Hold your face and then put inside water and then ask what you want. Then you'll say, I want one breath. And you understand the value of life. Understanding the value of life, then you understand the value of everybody in the world, every jivatma in the world. That realization is actually meditation. And where is this religion comes into place? Most of the people keep talking about religion. I take a cue from the Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, 7th sloka, which says, Matta parataram nanyat kishchitasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam prodam sutre manigana iva. The context is different. I am taking only a cue from him. He says, in every jiva, every life, the God me is passing through. Now, I say, if you have a lot of religion, each religion is a pearl in different colors, say. And maybe the thread is the spirituality. The spirituality cannot be seen, but it is that connects off the religion. If all the pearls are there, then only it becomes a beautiful ornament. So I'm sure religion is joining together, but spirituality is not joining together. It is the underneath thread which joins it together. Different religions. But what is that happening? When Imam was talking, he was talking about conflict. That is because they are independent but not in the thread which connects all these religions together. If you are truly spiritual, if you are truly spiritual religious, then I'm sure you become part of the ornament which looks so beautiful with the different colors. Otherwise, the world will not be good. And you have a different geography, you speak a different language. Similarly, you have different religion, nothing wrong in that. A garden is beautiful only when it has got beautiful different flowers. And the bird is beautiful, the butterfly is beautiful, not with one color, with the multiple colors. The bouquet is beautiful when you have different colors. The world becomes beautiful when you have different religions. So the interfaith in true sense have got a lot of meaning. If that is understood, I'm so glad that Frank, when he was talking it to you, so frank, the religion, politics, spirituality, interfaith, all these cannot be avoided. But truly understanding them is very, very essential. If somebody believes a religious man is spiritual, it is totally wrong. If a spiritual man is religious, that's also wrong. both religious and spirituality has to be entirely different. Maybe some people in religious field would have spoken about spirituality, and spiritual people would have spoken about religious practices. But when they are not matured, when they become so matured, as maybe Hawa said, people don't speak. I'm from a meditation master who keeps always talking about silence. I would have been in silence, but I couldn't resist because I was included as a speaker. So I had to speak. So thank you everyone for this listening to me and understanding. I took notes of all the people who spoke here. So I have got all the points here. So I was only reflecting on what connected to all of them. And that is what I believe, what is to be done in this world. If we can understand others, not learning. Learning is entirely different. People learn and then mug up and then speak. You understand the concept, I'm sure everything is one and the same. Pranams to each one of you. Thank you. God bless you. Have a beautiful time. Enjoy this world around and also have festive so that that can spread joy, but not spirituality, I believe. Spirituality is totally inner. Let God bless you to have that visualization, consciousness, which understands this world around, the value of spirituality. Pranams to each one of you. Namaskar. God bless you.
Thank you, Dr. TPG is bringing all good points of the spiritual styles from different traditions, because we don't have to follow certain things, but we had to go to the root cause, root nature of the knowledge. That's the best. I appreciate. I know we had to do a lot of work to change the system, but we had to accommodate everyone within that system. Appreciate. Now, Dr. Remy Alapo. Yeah, she's here.
Namaste, everybody. Peace and blessings to you all. Thank you once again, Guruji, for the invitation. It's truly a honor joining all of you here today. I would like to first start by wishing you all a happy Kwanzaa. And for those who don't know what it is, I will give you, a brief summary or introduction of it. So Kwanzaa is usually celebrated from December 26th to January 1st, right? The day right after Christmas. And Kwanzaa was created in 1966 by Dr. Maulana Karenga. And this was after the Watts riot as a specifically African-American holiday. And Karanga said his goal was to give Blacks an alternative to existing holidays of Christmas, and also to give Blacks an opportunity to celebrate themselves and their history, rather than simply imitating existing practices that dominated the society. And also, according to Karenga, Kwanzaa derives its name from Swahili. Swahili spoken mostly in Eastern Africa, and the phrase Matunda ya Kwanzaa means first fruits, usually celebrated after harvesting, after the crops have been harvested, and then it will be a Thanksgiving sort of holiday or celebration. And during the early years of Kwanzaa, Karenga said it was meant to be, like I mentioned, alternative to Christmas. And there are 7 principles in Kwanzaa, a holiday that is meant to celebrate the family, culture, and also to celebrate the history of our people. And the 7 principles are called Nguzo Saba. And the first one is Umoja, which is unity, to strive for and to maintain unity in the family, the community, the nation, and around the world. The second one is Kuchichangulia, which is self-determination, to define and name ourselves, as well as to create and speak for ourselves. Ujima, collective work and responsibility. This is to build and maintain our community together and to make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems and to solve them together. The fourth principle is Ujama, which is cooperative economics. And this is to build and maintain, businesses, opportunities for those in the community. The fifth principle is Nia, which is purpose. And purpose is to make collective vocation and also to build, building and developing the community. The sixth principle is Kumba, which is creativity. To do always as much as we can in the way that we can. And the last principle is Imani, which is faith. And faith is to believe with all our hearts in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and righteousness and victory to the struggle. And the symbol for the Kwanzaa resembles the, the saying that you would see, in most Jewish homes during Hanukkah. There are 7 candles, each representing a day of the week, and also the 7 principles that Kwanzaa represents. And, earlier, when I first learned about Kwanzaa, I didn't really understand myself what it was about, because, coming from Nigeria, of course, I grew up a Christian, and also, I was familiar with the African traditional religions, especially, me as a Yoruba. But irregardless of what we believe in, irregardless of, the purpose or the views, we remember that we serve one God. No matter how we get to God, it is a God of purpose, a God of unity, a God that, if we have faith, we will get to him no matter how. And I would like to also leave you today with, the concept of God, especially, as somebody who was at seminary, and, I've learned about all types of gods from every religion, every faith, but I would like to introduce to you and talk about the concept of God in Yoruba religion. And you will see that there are commonalities, there are similarities in what we all, or how we all believe that God is. No matter how we pray, no matter what we believe in, no matter the practices, you will find that every religion, or most religions or traditions out there, believe that God is omniscient. And in Yoruba tradition, Olodumare is God, the owner of the sky or owner of the heavens. He knows everything. There's nothing hidden from God. The second is that God is the king and the judge, which means we do not judge our brothers and sisters, but we leave it in the hands of the Almighty God. The Yoruba see Olodumare in the important position of king, and the people often call him Olorun, which is the owner of the sky. And, Olorun also is known as Olodumare, which is the all-knowing, the person who forgives, the person who answers calls and prayers. And I pray that as 2022 is around the corner, may all your wishes and prayers come true. May God give you purpose. May he grant you wisdom. And, we have a lot to thank God for 2021. And as we journey into 2022, may the spirit of the Almighty God dwell in all of you. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Dr. Remy Alapo, for bringing the points of Kwanzaa. Happy Kwanzaa to everybody. So
Thank you.
now we have few more people from our list. After that, we'll have an open mic, so anybody can do a prayer or a comment. So just wait us to finish the people from our list. Next person is Swamini Shakti Devi Saraswati from Argentina. She is the director for the Value community in Argentina, long time friend since 2005. I met her in Argentina. Metabado, Swamini Shakti Devi Saraswati, floor is for it.
Namaste. Namaste, dear Guruji.
Namaste.
Do you want to speak in Spanish or in English?
English is better because most of the
Okay,
people are English
no
speaking.
problem. Well, I was listening carefully all the words from all the great masters here. And I was thinking about what we have to learn as a teacher a normal life. I cannot avoid to join education with peace, with love, connection, comprehension. And I have a phrase from Tao Te Ching, if you let me to share with you. Tao Te Ching has a phrase that says, sometimes you lose winning, and sometimes you win losing. I'm going to focus on what we are winning about all this situation around all the world and humanity, what Omicron, COVID, Delta is learning to us. Omicron does not make differences about high-level people or low-level people. Omicron goes for unity. All are the same from COVID, no difference. And I want to learn about solidarity, unity, integration, support all the people who is suffering from this, what is happening in our humanity, in our society. Support, mental support, spiritual support, body support. I have to say that freedom is to respect the others, no? And I say that the hate is not the way, just love is the only way to get all this acknowledgement that COVID came to teach us. And love is God, God is love. Everything is love. God is not angry or angel, it's just love. And the only way to reach peace is to go for the way of love that God give us as a gift. Then I have to say, please pay attention. Like I say to my student at school, pay attention to the signals that the universe is God, and He is the same for all of us. He has no differences to give us love and blessings. Then please pay attention and work for unity, for comprehension, support, solidarity, unity again, unity, integration, and safe conditions for everyone, because everyone, each of us are the same. We have the same body, we have the same anatomy, we have the same comprehension. Why the differences? Then the only thing we have in common in all humanity is the connection with God, with love in all around this huge universe. We have to be connected. We have to respect the other. We have to take care of ourselves and take care of the other. Respect, love, and peace are, I think, the principal words. I don't want to be so longer because we are here listening great masters, great persons. Then my words is just a comment and to support your work, dear Guruji. And that was what I was thinking about all these 3 hours. I was listening to all these great masters. Thank you very much. And let's go on working for unity and peace and love through love way.
Thank
Namaste,
you.
namaskar, shalom, amen.
Thank you,
to
Mr.
everyone.
Vado, for your great support and all the work you and your team doing for your community in Argentina. That is, I had to congratulate. We got the name in the official level. I know it's going to make a big change in Argentina very soon. Before next speaker, I want to show a dance clip. What happened? Okay, now something wrong in the system. So I had to go back to, okay. I'll invite Peter Regina, peace light.
Hello, everybody, my extended family. Thank you, Guruji, for inviting me and inviting Peace Lights, more importantly, to not only this event, but I feel like this is the culmination of so many events that have happened throughout the year, and that there has been a constant important thread of spirituality through all of the events, whether they are teaching events or just events like this, bringing different communities together. Let me talk briefly about Peace Lights. So Peace Lights has really been the thing that has illuminated the path of spirituality for me. My spiritual journey didn't start because of Peace Lights, but when Peace Lights came around, especially because of the participation in all of the events and a lot of these online events with all of the speakers who have spoken today, in large part, there has been a real illumination of the spirituality of the path that I find myself on, that is really the same spiritual path that we all find ourselves on. Professor Bhatt early on today said that the only way to world peace and happiness is through spirituality. And I believe that. I believe that is a true statement. And there is, as he pointed out, a strong significance in the social service aspect as well. Because what I've found in my journey with Project Peace Lights, which is trying to define and accelerate peace education, whatever that means, for the African Union, as is called for in their 50-year plan. What I've found is that humanity kind of needs to be guided down a path sometimes from the outside, sometimes from within our own families. But this path, we need the gurus, we need the teachers, we need the spiritual leaders, which I think is different than a religious leader. And Dr. Frank Kaufman put it out really well there, that we need to look within the religions to find the spiritual components. And we need to have religious and spiritual leaders that can point out and focus the teachings and the learning on those spiritual elements, so that we can inculcate that into our day-to-day, into ourselves, and thereby achieve what Professor Bhatt talked about earlier on. And this all kind of naturally brought my journey into the interfaith world, because this is really where the rubber is hitting the road. We have all these new generations who are not raised with necessarily the same level of dogma that existed in their faith tradition of generations past. At least that's what I'm seeing in a lot of my conversations. So as Rabbi Paris said, we're all children of the same God once we start to focus in that direction. And then that makes us all brothers and sisters. So I'd like to just end with talking about the symbolism of Peace Lights and an invitation to include Peace Lights in all of your events coming forward. If you look at Peace Lights, you see in gallery view, you see the colors and the motion, and those colors represent the different cultures of the world. And the motion represents how those cultures interact and work together to achieve harmony and peace and good energy. Wherever Peace Lights plays around the world, including at all of the events that it has been on this past year, and I thank all of you for including Peace Lights in those events, and all of the in-person events that have happened in the past and certainly will happen in the future. People have been encouraged to project their own thoughts and intents for peace into the lights and contribute to and draw from the collective energy that is part of Peace Lights. So let me end, as I often have. I've had the great pleasure over this past couple of years to sit in and provide prayers from different faith traditions, Judaism or Catholicism or Sikhism. And I found a nice short ending prayer from Sikhism again. And it goes like this: meditating in remembrance of God, I have found total peace. Within my home and outside as well, there is peace and poise all around. Thank you again. I look forward to seeing you all in person and on these Zoom meetings. And please feel free to bring peace lights. Thank you, Guruji, and thank you everybody for the guidance, for the teaching, and for the love that you've all spread. Namaste.
Thank you, Peter Regina, for joining us for some years, being part of our Value community's activities. Now you are part of the global community, so you have more opportunity to interact with the different events and different people. So, and definitely we'll have a big celebration in the evening at the restaurant. Those who are in New York City, please join at 6 p.m. Restaurant name is Saravana Bhavan. It's an Indian vegetarian restaurant. We can have maximum 20 people, not more than that, because of the COVID restrictions. We'll have little prayer service, comments, and award ceremony. Now, let me try the dance clip again. Now we'll keep opening floor for everyone to share a short prayer and comments. So we had to finish meeting within 15-20 minutes. We have another event in the evening. So let me invite Sri Gandhi Kota Adimaji. Is the video working or?
Yes, I'm having a little trouble bringing up the video. Sorry.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Namaste, brothers and sisters. Salutations to you all. I'm an advisor for the Sri Satya Sai Baba Associated Sarvadharma Service Center in Howell, New Jersey, which conducts service activities in the local and international communities, including soup kitchen activities locally, yoga classes, spiritual events, disaster relief activities, and other spiritual activities. It's a great honor and privilege to be here with you today. Thank you very much for giving me this chance. And congratulations to Guru Dileepji for organizing many successful Hindu and interfaith meetings for many years. So I'll just say a short prayer. Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. The meaning is, we meditate on the effulgence of our Supreme Lord, who is our creator, inspirer, and source of eternal joy. May this light inspire and illumine our intellect and dispel the darkness. We must all focus and work together as spiritual beings on serving the family of mankind. Believe in the fatherhood of God and the brotherhood of man. Go from unity to purity to divinity. As Sri Satya Sai Baba says, love all, serve all. So I'll conclude with another prayer. Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu. And the meaning is, may all beings in all worlds be happy. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste, and thank you all. May God bless all. Shivoham.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you, Ji. I'd like to invite Ms. Margot Lazaro from the NGO Committee of the Sustainable Development Goals at the UN. Ms. Margot. Okay, now I'll invite Aishu. Aishu. Okay, now I have to invite Tara Devi from Argentina.
Hello, thank you. Bueno, no, lo único que quería decirles, y Mirta puede traducir, en conclusión, gracias a todos, y que todos somos uno, sin distinción de banderas, de razas, de credos. Dios es uno y todos somos Dios, todos somos uno. Muchísimas gracias. Namaste a todos. Namaste Guruji. Un placer. Thank you.
Mirta, what is the translation?
She said, thank you very much to everyone. And the conclusion is that all are one, that all are one, and that one is God, that God is great, and is great for all of us, not only for some of us. God is great. Then she says, thank you very much for this celebration. I want to tell you just a bit more. Peace lights are the lights of God, lights that was I talking about just 5 minutes ago. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'd like to invite Maria Ray. Just take 1 or 2 minutes, not more than that. Maria Ray.
Maria, 2 minutes.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, Guruji, and all the spiritual leaders for sharing your knowledge, teachings, traditions. This is very important. And I just want to add that I love to celebrate diversity. This is what makes us, greater in union and diversity together. Thank you so much.
Great.
Namaste.
Great. Thank you. Brother Oneness. Bye-bye. Okay. Misha, go for the next last song.
Prayer for humankind. One love for Our differences are the gift. Interdependence is our strength. Pray for the world. Pray for humankind. Pray for the world. Pray for peace on earth. Pray for the world. Pray for humankind. Pray for the world. Pray for humankind. One love for all. Shalom. Namaste. One love
Beautiful one. Perfect.
Thank you.
So we'll do 1 minute meditation is needed. Just remember all the great beings on this earth came and taught us beautiful teachings, our masters, parents, whoever. Thank you, everyone. It was a beautiful celebration. We had more than 250 events in this year, and partnership events, including physical events in Tri-State area. Over 150 organizations gather in our events. Numerous speakers, supporters. I want to thank all of you for all your support, being part of Value Communities Network, being a trustee or an advisor or a global council member or a partner organization or individual, a performer, a speaker, doesn't matter. We did something good for the community. We never asked even one penny to anybody. Those who gave contribution to the organization, I highly appreciate. You felt you gave it for a good purpose. None of us are paid. We do free service day and night because we have a passion. That's going on very well. Because of the God's grace, nothing to complain about. Sometimes we get hard time in our life. Still we look with our faith, look towards the positiveness. Overall, we did very well this year. 30 days of World Yoga Festival was the major event we had. Every day in June, from June 1st to 30th. Amazing event. I never had this such experience online to organizing an event with the support of other people. I did a lot of physical events. And that gave us a tremendous support from our global community. And another thing is we got the accreditation with the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations. That was a major moment happened. It's supposed to happen a few years back because of the corona, it delayed. And another one is we start the Society for Kerala Yogasana Sports Association. That's a major event we did in Kerala a few months back. And 8 children from school and college were able to attend the national Yogasana competition last week. They got the 5th place in the nation. Then other one is getting the registration process in Argentina. I had to congratulate all the members in Argentina. And we are looking forward to have more different types of events which can help people. We don't want to be limited to just a yoga practitioner. Yoga meant for growth of the physical, mental, and spiritual lifestyle. And we accommodate all the teachings. We are not sticking with any religion or a culture or a country. We want to be a blessed, spiritualized human being with the care and love. Full-fledged consciousness should be in our life. That's a pathway. Even though we work with political leaders, religious leaders, even sometimes we get criminals in our events too. We are here to serve them, not hate them. Sometimes we have to tolerate. People, a lot of time they call me for their events. Oh, we want a religious person to bless the occasion, then they insult me on the stage. I take it as a positive way. Sometimes they give us, oh, we'll do this for you, nothing will happen. Still we'll love them because they need help. Our part to serve every single being around the globe within our limitations, in our capacities. We'll do it. We are not going to step back. We'll move forward with the full force. Those who are coming to the evening vegetarian dinner party, please be there by 6 o'clock because we are on the wind up at 8 p.m. because of the COVID situation in New York also growing. And we want to make sure everybody is safe, those who are coming. And protocol regarding COVID-19 should be observed. Either way, when you are there, if you are not seeing me, just give me a call. It will be in the downstairs. So thank you, Michelle, for wonderful songs, spiritual songs, new songs. And I like the background also.
Thank you, Guruji.
And we are expecting 7 or 9 awardees today in the evening. And let us see how it will work out. I don't want to announce the names today. We'll announce at the program. Thank you everyone joining and blessing with your presence. We are going to rock in 2022. We may put a New Year celebration. We are trying. Let us see how it will work out. Om Loka Samasta Sugno Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sugno Bhavantu Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. That's it. Namaste everyone. See you soon.